Hey guys, it's PokeDude here with Misaki, and welcome back to Fate Holotraxia. So a lot happened last week. We saw what Anger Manu looks like. Shiro and Karen had a long talk about sex. um, Rin became a magical girl. We finally finished Hanafuda, and Luvia finally showed up.
We also got to see what the maids look like.
Oh, yep. Now, here's what I'm wondering though, because we are approaching the end of the game. And we know there are H scenes in here somewhere, so who's getting them? Because in Kagutsu Toya, we only had Len and the twins.
That is a good question.
Like, I think Karen's a given. Like, there's no way she's not getting one, but, what do you think? Luvia might get one, or is there not enough time to romance her?
I feel like there's a higher chance of, like, Bazette.
I can't see Bazette and Shiro doing it together. Maybe she does it with Anger Minu, though? Oop.
Gotta have that mana transfer.
Hang around the Amity residence. Oop, got something with Rin. Ask about London. Come to think of it, she's been all the way to England and back, so why not take the opportunity to ask her what it was like? Even if I'm not very good, I'm still a magic user. I'm interested in what the headquarters of the Mages Association, the clock tower in London, is like.
What kind of place? It's just an ordinary museum, really. Oh, you want your souvenir?
With that, Tosaka takes out a super thick book and offers it to me. It's a fancy and unappealing art catalog, something that could be bought with a discount at the British Museum. Well, I'll take it. I accept the present, giving her my thanks.
You're welcome. After all, I'll expect you to work hard if I ever have money troubles. You should start learning how to project things other than weapons. Sculptures are too bulky, so aim for paintings instead. Wow.
That's Tosaka for you. Even a souvenir is an investment for her. I won't support criminal activities. First of all, there are certified appraisers in there who deal in magic, aren't there? It wouldn't take that much more than a glance to see through my counterfeits.
You don't seem to fully understand your unique skill yet. There's no one who can see through your projections at first glance. Experts who check the composition would be the first to fail. Spiritual practitioners may sense something out of place with it, but only items with a shady history are sent to the Department of Spiritual Invocation. If you just sell the artwork and escape, you can make a fortune.
Really?
Really. So much so, to make me proud as your teacher as well.
Ugh, it's a bit complicated, but I actually might be feeling pretty good about this.
Well, if we did that, it would come back to haunt us, though. We're not Bonnie and Clyde. It couldn't take being on the wanted list, even in exchange for a huge fortune.
Okay, when are we getting Archer, Bonnie, and Clyde? I couldn't bear that either. I treasure my life more than money. Plus, I couldn't bear being treated as an accomplice when I was only forced into it either.
That's right. It might be fun to earn money in a showy way like that, but it all means nothing if you're exposed instantly. It's a business that doesn't require any capital, so let's just prank them out without attracting attention instead.
A joke. That was a typical Tosaka-style joke. I repeated that 3 times in my head, then decided to completely change the subject. Let's save the business talk for later. Back to London. Was there anything that left a strong impression on you? Oh, something like the prices being cheap, the cooking being bad, or making a new friend there?
So you want travel stories instead of souvenirs? Let's see, the clock tower was exactly as the name suggests, but most of the workshops there were underground. It was exactly like a dungeon where the level of insanity goes up the deeper you descend. They label Egypt's association as a hole in the ground, but those at the clock tower are pretty much moles themselves.
So a little reference to the Atlas Institute. So anything else? Don't you have some normal stories to share?
At this point, would she have seen Gordolf?
I'm trying to think if Gordolf would even... what his age he would be. I guess it's possible she's met him.
Or at least his dad.
Wait, actually, this takes place in 2005, I believe, so... Gordolf might be a student, actually.
Anything else? Well, I didn't really have the time to go sightseeing. I scraped together materials to make up for the jewel sword incident, reserved laboratories, spoke to the higher-ups in the Department of Mineralogy countless times, narrowed down the nobles who seemed like they could become sponsors for me, searched for an apartment to use next year, and just in case, went to look at the student dormitories, which are said to have cheap rent.
What's the matter? You look like you just bit into something sour.
Well, when I went to check out the student dormitories, I met this real bitch. Thanks to her, I was expelled from the dorm and forced to look for a regular apartment.
The vein is pulsing on her forehead. Tosaka can be harsh at times, but I think this is the first time I've ever really heard her call someone a bitch. Could it be that this bitch you're talking about is around the same age as us?
Huh? Why do you say that?
No, it's just a hunch. Just the way you were talking, you know? The way she spoke about her with such disdain sounds like the kind of thing you'd expect between equals, or to be frank, similar people.
Well, it's as you said. I came across her at the reception desk. At first she spoke normally, she greeted me politely, and the conversation with her was quite agreeable. Well, I did wonder a bit about the way she dressed, but you could tell at first glance that she was rich, and there was nothing yet to make me realize that she had such bad taste.
I feel a tinge of hatred in the word yet. The intensity of Tosaka's irritation is steadily increasing. Now even her magical energy is pulsing along with the vein in her forehead. It seems like she's just venting. Now then. As Tosaka's story becomes nothing but a continuous stream of dirty phrases beyond this point, let's go to a flashback instead.
Wow. In the entirety of her student dormitory's history, that incident was by far the worst. Miss Tosaka... Oh,
wait.
I guess that's the people...
Wait. I'm confused. This is a typewriter sound, so like... I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, maybe... Alright, I'll just read for now until we figure out what's going on here. Miss
Yeah,
Tosaka...
I assume that's probably like one of like the higher ups at the school being like, look at these two brats.
Yeah. Miss Tosaka and Lady Luvia Galetia. There's no point in debating which one of them is the culprit. The only thing we should leave for future generations is the fact that we should never allow those two ladies to be in each other's presence. August 8th, 2000X. Receptionist Octavia Leyland's testimony. Octavia Leyland, never heard that name before. Actually, this is a reenactment. Oh,
Yes, that should be all. I will inquire about rooms that fit your requirements. Please wait a moment.
I'm just gonna look up this character to see if they're actually a character or just a minor one. Let's see. Octavia.
No, man, this is good to know that they do reenactments even in this game. Like, I love the ones in Fate Grand Order where they just had like random servants playing as each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is like one little paragraph on the wiki about her. Alright.
Phew, I somehow managed to make it. Now just to wait for the outcome. Hmm? Pardon me, may I? This is the registration desk for next year's residence, correct? Yes, please go ahead. Sorry for the obstruction. If you're here to register, you should hurry. I'm aware of that. There are 7 minutes remaining, yes? You and we are not quite used to this place's time, are we? Pardon me. I brought the necessary documents. Will that be all? Ah, yes, this is sufficient, madam. Then I will take these and register you. You should return home for today. Oh my, did our maximum capacity increase? By 1? My apologies. Please wait a moment. I shall confirm this right away. Dare. Say. Sorry, please go ahead, or would you prefer I go first? No, since you went through the trouble to offer, I shall humbly accept your consideration. Would it be alright if I ask a question? Of course, it seems we are both bored, and it feels like the work of some fate that we should meet like this. I feel the same way. It may have been simple intuition, but I had a feeling that we would get along from the moment I first saw you. Although, for those who practice magic, relying on one's intuition based on a first impression is the same as making a premonition without any basis. Not at all. If it's a premonition instead of a prediction, then it is an incredible feat to rely on your intuition alone. Besides, I trust your intuition has never led you astray before, correct? Oh? Could that be your intuition? Yeah. If we feel so similar to one another that we've let our guard down, then that must be the case, after all. You're saying your intuition is never off the mark either? Yes, there is no error in your intuition. I have never misjudged another's personality, even on the first meeting. Quite some self-confidence. So what's the impression you get from me? What sort of person do you see me as? Stubborn, but a rival worthy of respect. Someone like that, I suppose. From your appearance, you seem to be the first year as well. But this is the first time I've spoken with an Oriental person. I know this is impolite, but are you Chinese?
Point out Oriental's a little archaic term. It's usually don't refer to people that way.
Yeah. That's quite a baseless assumption. What makes you think that? The way you move your feet and shift your center of gravity, perhaps. In the past, I received lessons from someone who gave off that same kind of aura. Although, that person was an expert of my homeland. I see, but your homeland? Oh, I beg your pardon. I haven't answered your question yet. Unfortunately, I'm Japanese. However, I'm not purely Japanese, as a quarter of my bloodline is foreign. So, you're Japanese. Well, such mistakes can happen. Perhaps this is yet another sign for us to deepen this friendship during our time here. Greetings, freshman from the Orient. My homeland is Finland.
I actually didn't know where she was from. Interesting.
Compared to yours, it is practically right next door. Japan is on the other side of the earth, is it not? Surely, you did not come here all by yourself? My parents have already passed away. That's not the reason why, but I'm coming by myself to enroll at the clock tower next year. Are Asians a rare sight in London? I have heard there are not many. However, those that have left their names behind are all top of the line magi, apparently. You should see that there is no handicap based on race. I see. That's good news. Frankly speaking, I was a little disheartened until now. I'm only here for a month to get a feel for this place, yet everyone I meet here is a monster, you know? Well, even a Tengu's nose can break. Though I suppose you aren't familiar with that saying. Ah, I have heard of Tengu. The hermit of Japan with a long nose, right?
Well, in theory anyway. Not the ones we've
Yeah.
seen.
The proverb, a Tengu's nose can break, refers to a powerful and talented person bowing before an even greater power. Is that correct?
Wait, actually, we did see Tengu monsters, right? Like, generic ones?
I think so.
They, yeah. The wiki's not,
Oh man, when it comes to like the Japanese-based monsters, I keep on thinking of those giant oni.
yeah.
They stand out more.
Yeah, the, Karasu Tengu. Yeah. Just the one that we know is able to take on a humanoid appearance, so...
Yes, you got the nuance right. I was brimming with confidence in my hometown, but once I ventured outside, I had to reaffirm my resolve. You too? Actually, I've been thinking the very same thing myself. We really are going to get along well. Have we both come to study abroad by ourselves, right? In that case... Excuse me, Miss Luvia Galita Edelfelt, could I have a moment of your time? Of all the times to interrupt, what? Is there some problem with the documents? No, there's nothing wrong with the documents, but, the situation has changed from what it was a week ago. To put it bluntly, we cannot comply with your request. Your request was for the entire top floor, but there is a new applicant wishing to move in. Wishing to move in? Even though it's already widely known that an Edelfelt had chosen this dormitory? Just who exactly is this country bumpkin that would move in here for the sole purpose of ruining my mood? That would be the young lady next to you. We received a recommendation from a lord in regard to her about half a year ago. The Edelfelt's authority may not be enough to override it. Very well. I cannot overlook your implication that my family's crest is inferior to another, but if she is just sharing a room with me, I may consider it. She won't be sharing a room with you. She'll be using only one of the 28 rooms you booked. Is that not what sharing a room is? Two people living on the same floor. If that is not room sharing, then what is? She isn't my servant, is she? Ha ha ha. Well, that cannot be helped either. I normally would not allow for such a thing, but fortunately, this gives us the opportunity to deepen our friendship even further. How does it sound? If it is with you, even sharing a room does not sound bad, wouldn't you agree? No problem. I wouldn't say I have any complaints, but you sure are rich. Then it's decided. You there. She and I will be sharing a room. Come to think of it, we still have not introduced ourselves. I am Luvia Gelita Edelfelt, and you are? Tosaka Rin, a Japanese manga studying in the Department of Mineralogy. Tosaka? Wait a moment, that name. I have certainly heard. Then Miss Osaka, the documents to sign. Wait a moment, that contract. What the? Hey, what are you doing? That's my... Tosaka. Japan. Fuyuki. Tosaka Rin. You're that Tosaka? What on earth is wrong? Sure, you did strike me as a kind of space case, but there's no reason to. Silence. How dare you trick me? To think you were that Tosaka, a daughter of the cowardly, sneaky, and petty Tosaka family that calls forth magi with a fake rumor of some holy grail, then stabs them in the back. Wait, what did you say just now? Could it be that you know about the Holy Grail War in Fuyuki? Yes, I know much about Fuyuki. I thoroughly investigated your ancestry and the level of Japan's magi as well. The results were terrible, which it seems rare talent does appear once in a while. Other than those exceptions, they are an inferior race that are not worthy enough to study the mysteries. What did you just say? I don't know who you think you are, little Miss Aristocrat, but I can't forgive what you just said. I have no intention of seeking your forgiveness, understand? You lot haven't a single drop of noble blood in you. I do not know what sort of mishap led you to begin studying magic, but know your place. You there? What we agreed upon just now is null and void. This girl's room is not on my top floor. Understand? These documents, by my Edelfelt name, I declare these shall... Huh? Be turned into garbage like so? Eek, Edelfelt-sama, what are you doing? Tearing up a recommendation letter from a lord. Never has such a thing happened since the founding of the storm.
Oh, wait. I think that's that kanji like meme face, but the characters didn't render properly.
Oh, Cat got your tongue, Miss Self-Proclaimed Magus, from the sticks? This place doesn't suit you at all. How about kindly returning to that dirty and cramped island nation from whence you came? You anachronistic tube curl girl. What is this? Were my ears malfunctioning when I heard you say you don't discriminate a moment ago? Humph. The Japanese alone are another matter from other Orientals. Only because you looked extremely lonely, like an abandoned rat, did I offer you any pity before. That also ends here. Now that I know you are the special Tosaka breed of non-human, the only things I have to offer are a blast of boiling water and gander. You really went and said it. Thanks to that, I remember now. Edelfelt. Yeah, I thought the name rang a bell. So it's that Edelfelt, huh? The Edelfelts who participated in the Third War, the stupid aristocrats who split up early on due to internal conflicts within their ranks, right?
Huh. The Third War. Never really hear about that.
Judging from that grudge of yours, I suppose after they ran away, they told their children about how scary and detestable the Tosaka are. Is that right? Looks like you are only good at cracking humorless jokes. You do realize that these words cannot be unsaid? That's my line. You should know that I won't forgive you, even if you kneel down before me, right, Miss Purebred Rich Girl? I'm all fired up now. My rage can no longer be extinguished. Do you have the courage to take up my glove? Bring it on. I'll take that whole tasteless dress of off your hands for you if you want. That's the spirit. One room, two residents. There is only one way we could go about resolving this now. Correct? Yes, the loser will give way to the winner. Obviously, it's the universal rule. Don't get all fired up on your own. Personal rules are forbidden. Sleeper forbidden. What on earth are you two thinking? This is the Norwich student dormitory, where we prize politeness and reconciliation. Pointless personal conflicts aside, the use of magic is strictly prohibited within the dormitory. Calm down. I'm the head of the proud Edelfelt family. Regardless of who my opponent is, if they do not use magecraft, then I will also respond solely with my body. Is that fine by you as well, Miss Tosaka? My pleasure. But you're saying you'll actually fight hand-to-hand without magic, in that sort of dress? It's fine, you can rely on your forte, Gander, if you like. I'll fight barehanded, like a proper magus with decorum. That advice shows a good mental attitude for Tosaka. I have a slightly better opinion of you. But do not worry, in my hands, a dress like this. Ho! Well, as you can see, it is a simple matter to modify it for use in combat.
I don't think the sleeves were the issue.
Yeah. Simple, you say? Just what is that dress? So right from the start, it was a sleeveless with attachments? Of course, this extent is well within the taste of a lady. No, not a single person in the entire world has that sort of taste. Well, I said I do. So there clearly are. First of all, tearing up dresses every time I get into a quarrel would cost a fortune in tailoring fees. Don't tell me. You used to tear up a dress whenever you got into a fight? No, ahem. Listen, as the heads of our families, we cannot choose when or where we will be assailed by ruffians, can we? It was made like this for exactly such times. What's with the face that screams, yeah, right? Very well, if you won't believe me, then I will just have to beat the truth into your body directly. She's getting ready. That forward-leaning stance while keeping her stability. This girl's a real deal. Looks like you actually have some skill. Luvia Gelita. Ignoring your taste in dresses, if that's how it's going to be, then I'll knock you down without holding back. I feel the same way. Make sure to say thank you to the hallway's wooden floor, Miss Tosaka. Eek! Hello, Mr. Anthony? Mayday! Hazardous materials have appeared in the student dormitory. What little remains of my wages will be docked again. I'm very sorry about this, Miss Octavia, but no need to worry. I shall end the deal with this strike. Yeah? Miss Osaka, you have such spectacular skill with Kung Fu at such a young age? Marvelous! Much of your style's arrangement is clearly self-taught, but that's an impressive display of Bang Chuan given your physique.
The receptionist was so knowledgeable about martial arts.
Yeah, she's fangirling now. She's like, oh, this is a real fight. Got her. At this distance, it'll be a complete victory. Phew. How naive, Miss Osaka. No way. From behind? What's this? A stance where you drop low enough to even crawl on the ground. That's unmistakably catch wrestling. An ancient English capture technique, the Lancashire style. What? I've got your back. No way! You're some kind of pro wrestling maniac! She's done it! Finland's Star of Hope, the hunting dog of the ring, the lady forklift, Luvia Gelita Edelfelt. What a victory, a KO in 1 round, 13 seconds. Such an unbelievable fighter actually appeared.
And now you understand Estrella's noble phantasm.
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense. That's 3 counts, Miss Osaka. The reason you lost is because you revealed your hand. The battle starts even before the bell rings, you know? Phew. Stars. I see stars.
That's one hell of a story. Her opponent was impressive, but the same goes for Tosaka, who jumped into the fray without any hesitation. As expected from a frequent offender. May have been a student dormitory instead of a school building, but it wasn't the first time Tosaka had rampaged on school grounds. Come to think of it, Ishtar and Estrella have never really interacted much in FGO, have they?
No, and I guess this is why.
I think
Subconsciously, they're avoiding each other.
Yeah, I hope they see each other at some point. Maybe if Estrella ever gets like a summer version or something.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So then, you guys rushed into a second round of mudslinging? By the time you realized that the receptionist area had collapsed and you were both punishing punished for fighting. Tosaka, wasn't it your own fault that you ended up banned from the dorm?
It wasn't just my fault. If Luvia hadn't charged me like that, I wouldn't have gotten such a disgraceful nickname before school even started.
I am interested in that disgraceful nickname she mentioned, but oh well. It's probably something along the lines of monster or hurricane.
What are you grinning about? If you have something to say, just say it.
Alright, but don't get angry. This is just what I feel. Her name was Luvia, right? Isn't that girl a lot like you, Tosaka? I think you guys get along really... Ow! I saw them. The stars I hadn't seen in a while.
That ended too quickly. If only I had lashed out like this back then, she wouldn't have pulled off that backdrop.
Her fist shake with self-satisfaction. I see, so Miss Luvia's death blow was a suplex. So why did that blow pay me a visit?
When I heard the words I didn't want to hear the most, my body just responded on its own.
Like they say, one rotten apple spoils the barrel. It seems that due to meeting this Miss Luvia, Tosaka's level of violence has risen considerably.
Oof. I will say this before you make any weird misunderstandings. I will never get along with Luvia. That girl hates Japanese people and loves bullying them. She even threw a glove at me in the end.
Wow, a glove? That's really old-fashioned. But then again, from what I've heard, she sounds like the type... If Tosaka would have grown up in England as well, I don't doubt she would hurl one of those at me. However, isn't that a little too extreme? Does this girl have a grudge or something against Japan?
Yes, that girl. Her name's Luvia Gelita Edelfelt. And it is said that the Edelfelts are a well-known and relatively prestigious noble house. Although they are aristocrats, they hold mercenary-like precepts in their family. Whenever there's a conflict, they would happily show up and snatch the best parts away. They are said to be feared as the most elegant hyenas on Earth.
God, I just remember something from the beginning of the game. Was it mentioned that they work in pairs? Like there's like twins or something, or sisters? I still have...
They mentioned sisters.
Yeah. I have no idea who Luvia's sister is. I've never heard of her, so... Still waiting on that mystery. Say, don't you think this sounds more like a certain someone, Tosaka?
Be quiet and listen. And so, because they like fighting so much, they participated in a ritual in a Far East island country out of idle curiosity. It was over 60 years ago. A pair of twin sisters headed the Edelfelt family, and although they were very famous magi, they were utterly defeated. The younger sister was killed in action, while the eldest somehow survived and returned back to her country.
That raises even more questions. This entertaining story suddenly took a stark turn. Edelfelt, the twin heads of the family, and also a ritual that was performed 60 years ago in a Far East island country. Tosaka, you mean?
I'm referring to the Third Holy Grail War. As a result of that, Luvia hates Japanese people. But then, we were also underestimated by them. It's said that the twin heads back then didn't get along with each other to an unusual degree. There's even a rumor that the younger sister died because she got into a fight with the elder sister. Oh yeah, if I recall, there's a Western-style house somewhere around here they built to spite the Einsburns. Something like a hideout deep in the forest.
Oh, is that must be the place that Bazette's staying.
Actually, the sisters had separate houses. Although siblings, it seems that they hated the idea of even breathing the same air.
Hide out in the forest? Moreover, the sisters had separate houses? Western-style house built 60 years ago, so that Luvia girl owns a villa over here?
I see. I guess she would inherit it. But wouldn't anything here have been abandoned ages ago? The Edelfelds apparently said they would never step foot onto Japanese soil again. So I think they would have handed everything over to the Mages Association.
It's all falling into place. I don't quite know what it is yet, but in any case, I've obtained another important piece of the puzzle. Wonder if that was used as a Mugs' hideout. Could this be related to the master that Kotomine ambushed in the Holy Grail War half a year ago?
That's right. The Magus who was dispatched by the Association and their command spells stolen by Kotomine. I told you about how I found that hideout while searching for Lance's master, right?
Yeah, that's the place where the first H scene happened that I thought was where Bizet was staying, but... so... Yeah, okay. I was trying to put this together. So, the two houses were the one place where the H scene happened in Ironsburg Forest, and then the one that Bizet's currently staying at in the other forest. Yeah, you said you found bloodstains in a hand from which the command spells were stolen. So if that hideout you found was the house that belonged to the Edelfelds, does that mean that there are two of them?
That's right. Those sisters built those houses in the middle of the battlefield in a foreign land. So the so-called twin houses of Edelfeld are pretty famous. Well, the one I discovered was near my house. I don't know where the other one is.
Wait, when you say it's near your house, you mean it's in Miyama?
Correct. They hid it in plain sight. Building a house under the very nose of the Tosaka family, the supervisors of this town, what nerve!
That's exactly right. Looking back on it, that mistake was also the single biggest mislead for a certain someone.
What? Are you interested, Emiya-kun? If you like, shall we visit that place during the holiday next week?
Yeah, once this whole mess is cleared up, it might not be a bad idea to have a look together. I give her an absent-minded reply while holding back my dizziness. Tosaka's stories of her travels continue. The Edelfelds, though, did not come up again. Take information about the Edelfelds. Town map, afternoon. Twin mansion, older sister has appeared. Or, okay, maybe I was wrong about the location then? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, because the other house was over here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I head towards the residential area with neat rows of Western-style buildings. Going uphill, I make a detour around Tosaka's familiar house into the woods. The glaring sunlight blinds me. I found the house I was looking for much sooner than I expected. So this is the other of the twin houses. Convenient that they could just reuse the same image so they don't have to draw a second house. The two Western-style buildings look too much alike. Makes me feel like I've suddenly teleported to Shinto with a single step, even though having just been in Miyama. If you look carefully, you'll notice it's different from the one in Shinto. The image of this place at night, one that I have no memory of ever seeing. This is unmistakably the place where that Lady Magus and her servant were hiding out. It's empty, I think. Was I too late? The second floor is too quiet. If I had arrived at this mansion a little earlier, that Magus might have been sleeping on the sofa right about now. No, that's not right. There's no sign that anyone has used this room. I search around the room. I spot three differences from the mansion in Shinto. The bloodstain that was splattered on the floor half a year ago. An accessory lying near the bloodstain. And a 16 puzzle has been left on the table. The magazine Bizet isn't here, but there are definitely bloodstains. There are two possibilities I can think of. Either that Magus is a ghost that doesn't know she's already dead, or this isn't her real stronghold. The real coffin must be someplace else. This is just the place where she comes falling down in the very beginning. Someone's wish. A method to reproduce the Holy Grail War. It's not enough to only gather the components, because gathering the parts won't make the world move. If normal days were all they wanted, a stagnant world would have been good enough. But if they want to reproduce the war, the one at the center of it all would have to keep moving, or the conflict would not reappear. You must discover the meaning of your existence. For that purpose, the one granting the wish disguised himself as someone who can keep the world turning. Or maybe he just borrowed this person's point of view. If he keeps the normal days moving, the fake Holy Grail War will keep moving as well. Though day and night don't line up, they are definitely linked by that momentum alone. It's because these 4 days still exist that Bizette Fraga McGremet is able to continue her war. Or conversely, as long as the nighttime war keeps repeating, the observation of these 4 days can perpetuate as well. No, what's fake is only one person. Though he did make one mistake. It was a routine that consisted of only of keeping the days turning. A simple task of spending the same old worn 4 days without the need to cause any changes whatsoever. On simple impulse, he would wound up finding it enjoyable. He intervened on purpose. As long as it remains incomplete and full of holes, it will never be destroyed. But because he wants to see new, boring, ordinary days, he's filling those holes of his own volition. Well, whatever. Now that I've confirmed who was the master here, all that's left is to set up the counterattack. Fortunately, there's already a servant much more knowledgeable about this Magus than someone like myself. Shattering the God of War's blade is a job for the Hound's spear. Gotta think of it. Ku is another potential partner for Bizette if she gets an H scene.
Oh yeah. Or both. Why not both?
Both is good. I'll leave the house for now. My spoils for conquering this little hideout will be the accessory that fell on the floor. As I turned to leave, my eyes stopped on the table once again. I see a mixed-up, neglected picture. It's just a little more of the puzzle that was never meant to be finished is about to be complete. Is that the same kind of flower? Oh, wait, hold on. Earring obtained. Her remains have been attained. Go to the harbor and try asking for cooperation once again. It's not the same kind of flower that is on Angermanu's Bondcraft essence, is it?
Oh, good question. It might be.
Let me look that up real quick. Let's see.
But man, I love how all of Ku's talks are at the harbor. He lives there.
Yep. Let's get. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, it's hard to tell, but it might be the same flower. Its name is the name of the craft essence is Final Fragment. All right, call it a day. All right, we got only one option. We're all sitting in the living room as lunchtime draws near. Suddenly, while watching television,
It sure would be nice to get married.
those are the words I hear. I sense a sudden and awkward tension in the air. I bet everyone feels the same way.
This, Taiga? You plan to get married?
Setting her cup of milk tea down in the soft stir with a clink, Ilya says what the rest of us are thinking. Sakura then speaks up as well.
I suppose it's true what they say about how there's total silence just before a bomb goes off. If you need a place for the ceremony, I don't mind lending out Einstein Castle. Although you need someone to stand at the altar with. First, of course.
Tosaka is the next to speak.
That's the moment of the explosion. I haven't got anyone like that. Shiro has gotten so reliable these days, so I was thinking I'd never have to. But that was before we got our first freeloader. And that turned into 2 and then 3. And now Kiritsugu-san's place is some kind of dreamy hot spring hotel. Or no, a girls' school is a trend these days. Yeah, trend. Oh geez. And now that it's become practically a brothel, I can't afford to take my watchful eye off of any of you for 1 second. Taiga, please calm down. What does that make me? At this rate, I thought that it'd forever be up to me to support Shiro as both a teacher and big sister, guiding him down the path of life, with one hand on his back to keep him from straying. Although that was getting to be such a pain, I'd consider just going with a nice castration instead, or just going with our great country's time-honored traditional infanticide system and consigning 1 or 2 of these capturable subjects to an infinite darkness, you see.
What the hell is she talking about?
Yeah, she's going crazy. Saber, do it. I won't mind. Things are getting interesting now. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, that's the right way. Let's do this first, and think about everything else later. Easy.
It did not look like a strong blow to me, but it sent Fujine staggering before she gently collapsed onto the floor. I feel sorry for Fujine, but this was the most appropriate and fastest way of dealing with the issue.
Taiga is now sleeping. I apologize, Shiro. It was too sudden, and I ended up taking rather drastic measures.
After carrying Fujine to her room, Saber apologizes. Don't worry about it. Who knows what tragedy might have unfolded if we let her go on. To begin with, it was Tosaka who gave the order.
What? Are you going to tell me that we should have let Fujimura-sensei's true instincts run wild?
No, I have no complaints. Had Saber not done so, I would have been putting my own life on the line to stop it, probably. Thinking it over, I'd say we got away with minimal damage this time.
It sure is a problem for her, though. If she wants to get married, she does need to think about herself more. She really is a teacher through and through, forever thinking about the good of others. My oh my.
Remarks Ilya as she puts on another pot of tea.
Emiya-kun, how about you take Fujimura-sensei? Absolutely not!
Lightning speed response. Words were out of Sakura's mouth before Tosaka could finish saying sensei and almost seemed to leave a sonic boom in their wake.
I'm kidding. Look, Emiya-kun's freezing up in surprise. Senpai, that's not really what it means, okay?
Then what the heck does it mean, is what I want to ask, but decide against delving in further. Well, you know, if I tell her that, Fujine may take a while to get it too.
Yeah, that's the way it usually is. It's a kind of topic we're all particularly distant from.
She's right about that. None of the usual crowd that gathers here is what you'd call has what you call normal life in regards to marriage or family living. Suddenly, Sakura's eyes meet mine. Tosaka noticed. At an angle, I could see an unpleasant smile directed at me.
Talking about Rin, didn't you have a priest for a guardian and all? But I wasn't living at the church, and it's not like we were close to begin with.
I suppose so, although I've never seen one myself. The church is where weddings are supposed to take place in Fuyuki. Come to think of it, have there been any couples who got married by that guy? That sounds... should I put this? Less like being wet, more like being judged before God. Some weird sort of Twilight Zone, maybe. I like how his eyes are covered up.
Sure they were. There were. Well, we know what kind of guy he really was, but that doesn't mean he wasn't devoted to his duties as a priest. I'm sure the couples who married in his church were quite satisfied.
Also, did you notice the silhouettes?
Yup.
Right. The scary thing is, aside from his personality as a priest, that man was perfect. Well, when it comes to marriage, Kuzuki Sensei and Caster's story is the closest. Does that count?
Would you mind if I interrupt for a moment? I have had some experience with a wedding myself. The ceremony, such as it was held at the castle.
Huh? Sakura Tosaka and I freeze in shock.
What are you all acting surprised for? What are you all acting surprised for? It's only natural for Saber to have already been married. Come to think of it, it really is.
I see. Saber's legend includes a lot of facts that may or may not be true, but marriage is one thing that is often mentioned. It's just that knowing the way it ends, it can't possibly be a good topic to bring out, bring up out of mere curiosity. Speaking of, you're going to be starting Lost Belt 6 soon, aren't you, Misaki? Although I guess that the that version of her is pretty much a different character, but Tosaka and
Yeah.
yep. Tosaka and Sakura have the same thought as we exchange glances. Oh, by the way, actually, on that note, I realized like when I started doing that chapter that Castoria's last name is actually Castor and not Pendragon. Like,
Oh, that's different.
yeah, it is written on her card. It says Altria Castor instead of Altria Pendragon, but I never really put that together until the story.
Hmm. So, how did the two of you end up living together? I do not think I will be very helpful as a reference, Iliasville. Would that still be acceptable? Yeah, I'm not planning on a thorough study or anything. Is that so?
This is the part where not having Fujine around really helps.
The ceremony was magnificent and grand. As the entire country was involved, it lasted for nearly 7 days. When she, Guinevere, and I were wed, our marriage was celebrated by all throughout the land. I swore to love her as a man, falsehood though it was. However, I was a king before I was her husband. To put it in a more cruel manner, you could say that I married her as a king. Then the two of you were married even though you didn't love her? That is right. Though I did bear her goodwill in my own way, I'm certain it was insufficient for a husband. As a result, we betrayed each other. She led a life of misfortune, and I bear part of the blame for allowing her honor to be soiled. Still, I, as a man, tried to love her as much as I possibly could. Although it was a political marriage, the wedding ceremony was the one time where I could earnestly wish for her happiness, to me as a human. That was a very blissful moment.
The way she told that story was much too calm. I cannot possibly understand just what kind of different emotions were mixed. I had a sneeze. Give me a second. Hey, sorry about that. I could not possibly understand just what kind of different emotions were mixed in there. And with that, Saber's tale comes to an end with a smile, mixed with just a hint of loneliness.
I did not expect marriage talk.
Yeah. Okay, we got important coup at the harbor, or we got Ryder home.
I'll go for crew at this point to unlock more stuff, right?
Yeah. Ask for cooperation. One conclusion. To defeat the enemy that is yet to be seen, Lancer's cooperation is essential. It's not because of the other servants are unwilling to cooperate. If there is even someone who can defeat her at all, it isn't Saber, and certainly not myself. No, she can fall by none other than a spearman's hand. Lancer. I call out to him. This, too, is a new fragment of a daily life that I haven't seen until now. I explain the situation to the best of my ability. About the reproducing of the Holy Grail War. About Bazette Fraga McRemitz, who continues to fight at night. About the fact that she needs to be defeated for everything to be resolved. And that her former servant, Lancer, is the trump card. Lancer remains silent. Telling him the truth won't be enough to change his response. Just like before. Before? He'll refuse, saying it has nothing to do with him. So before that, I'll return this to you. It originally belonged to the two of you, didn't it? I tossed the earring I found in the mansion over to him. That's not it, you idiot. Where'd you find this? You haven't met yet, have you? She dropped one of them. You didn't go to the mansion? It wasn't necessary. Plus, you couldn't afford to do so in the middle of the Holy Grail War. Damn, I give up. Anyway, I'll keep it for now. Is that okay for you to just hand over like this? This is for the best. Well, to be honest, you're the last person I want to give it to. There's no point in saying that. Look, the point is, the earring has been returned to its owner. If even a present like this doesn't work, there's not much hope in getting Lancer's help. Just like before, I must think of a way to beat her with me and Saber. Fine. When's the operation going down? Let me think. The hell's your problem? I'm going with you, so tell me when. A change of heart? Nature has agreed to cooperate. No, thanks. The time is before midnight at the courtyard in front of the church, but... Got it. See you there. Oh, on one condition. I'll eliminate the master myself, so don't you dare butt in. You don't need to bring Saber either. I know her tactics. It'll be over in a minute. See ya. Lancer goes back to his fishing spot. No, wait a minute. What? Something else? No, I mean, is it really okay? I know it's at my request, but didn't you swear not to kill women or masters? Don't sweat the details. There's no fun in living if you let yourself be held back by everything you ever said. So he says. Who was the one who stuck by those details until the bitter end? Lancer, you know there were still consequences if you violate your geas. Will you be alright breaking 2 oaths? That was the end of his myth. Though a conspiracy by Maeve, Lane had his left arm sealed after eating what he knew to be dog meat. Ain't really a Gia, so it'll be alright. Guess I never told you, but when Kulan's hound was what Kulan's hound was protecting till the very end was his friend's honor, something like that. What a pain. The man I gotta keep protecting is no matter what, or look lame, right? With a cynical smirk, Lancer disappears towards the wharf. The twilight of Kulan's hound. As he was surrounded by Queen Maeve's forces, the bards sang to him like so. Give me your spear, or I will spread the story of your shame. In that era, the song of the minstrels were treated as truth, even if they were pure fiction. Cuchulainn gave his spears to the minstrels, spears which had passed into the enemy's hands, one by one, snatched all that was dear to him. There were 3 minstrels. The first threatened Cuchulainn's honor. The second pressed for the spear by threatening to mock all of Ulster otherwise. And the third, Cuchulainn had lost his charioteer and his favorite horse. Still, the third minstrel sang again for the last spear. There are no more spears to give. For the price of my own honor, for the ransom over the house honor of Ulster, I had paid in full. So said Cuchulainn, raising his voice. To that, I see, so let me sing to shame your family, and all who are dear to you. The minstrel laughed and sang in reply. Hearing this, Cuchulainn laughed at the top of his voice. I have no choice then, and tossed the last spear. By the enemy's hand, the spear finally pierced the belly of the hound. I'm not sure why Lancer is willing to help, but everything is now fully prepared. Under the dim moonlight, tonight at the church, a conclusion will be reached. Church at night. Finale draws closer, now that agreement with the spearman has been reached, shot to the battlefield. Guess we're going to the church. It's been a while since we saw this screen. We finally met on the hill road leading towards the church. Lancer kept his promise. Yo, what's this? You're just a wee bit early. His jokes might be casual, but his armor isn't. It was half a year ago that I last saw him in full battle array. Ah, that's right. It's already been half a year since the war ended. So what's the plan? You say we know our enemy's tactics, but do we have a counter plan? Stopping at the as of yet unseen master's trump card, Fragarak, is the key to this battle. No, Fragarak can't be stopped. It's an extremely well-made counter, noble phantasm. In a fair fight, no matter what we do, we're going to lose. As far as trump cards go, you can say that Fraga McRemens is one of the strongest. So Lancer says. There's no way to defeat Fragarak. That thing is a missile that reacts to the enemy's trump card and releases when a clash occurs. Thus, to defeat Bazette, one must not use one's own noble phantasm. If you restrain your own trump card, Fragarak's power will be effectively halved. That's all? That's all. If I don't use my lance, Fragarak is just going to be a low-level noble phantasm. Of course, if she keeps hitting me with that, the noble phantasm policy might become a tad annoying. The look in Lancer's eyes tell me that there's no way he would lose with this strategy. Come to think of it, amateur magic and regular ranged attacks, like arrows and knife throwing, won't even scratch him. His combat skill is also superior to Bazette's. Should he fight consistently, victory should be no problem. However, I'm going to settle this with that woman using my noble phantasm. It'll be over soon, so just stay back and watch. Fragarak is undefeatable. Despite this fact, Lancer still rose to the sword's challenge. We climb up the hill towards the makeshift arena. The moonlight is dim and my eyes cloud a little as I look up. The moon is dark tonight, or perhaps the stars are close. In the void of the night where one can touch the darkness with a stretch of hand, there are 2 figures awaiting our arrival. No longer knowing how many times this has occurred before. Lady Magus, followed by the dark shadow Avenger, fixes her stare onto the enemy as always. As if seeing a ghost, her sight becomes transfixed onto Lancer's figure. Lancer pays no attention to the Magus. With his index finger, he estimates the distance to his foe. 1, 2, 3, 4. The distance is about 10 meters. He steps into the into throwing range and points the tip of his spear to the ground. Oh god, at least in German I can at least try to read it, but...
Symbols. Runes.
Is that some sort of spell? A square with a rune at each corner appears, but it doesn't feel like magic at work. Not moving a step away from his position, Lancer swings his spear once in the direction of his opponent. Your move. No names are exchanged. The battle's aura speaks for itself.
Avenger. What is that?
Bizet asks the shadow. A servant, isn't it obvious?
I just love how his shadow is.
Yeah. He looks like Slender Man.
Yep. Impossible. I have not seen a servant like this before. Which class does he belong to, Avenger? Not Saber, not Archer. Rider, Caster, or Assassin, none of them.
Well, clearly it's Berserker.
That's...
It's blatantly obvious. Come on, Master. Can't you figure out who he is just by looking at the weapon? The shadow cackles. But now, Lady Magus has lost all her fighting spirit. Gazing at the enemy in front of her, she's about to burst into tears, not even sure why herself. Then Lancer's cold words pierce her heart. Boy, I've come to take your life.
Huh?
She lifts her fist as if she's afraid. Her resolve is completely gone.
Wait, please wait. I don't have a reason to fight you. You two, there's no reason to fight me.
Of course there is. You're here with the Holy Grail War. It's here to win the Holy Grail War. The fighting won't stop till all servants are defeated. And now you and I are here to finish each other off. The shadow laughs. A smile that says, that's right.
No, I won't fight you. No, I won't fight you. I won't fight you. I won't fight you. Because you know me. Right?
No, don't recall knowing a loser like you.
Ouch.
That's harsh. Simple sentence. Her knees nearly gave out, like a puppet with its strings cut.
Oh, Bazette, never meet your heroes. Then, you are my enemy?
Not the support of strings, but her own will keeps her standing. That's right. If you're a real user, you should know the meaning of the Athengabla forward fork. I guess that craft essence, it always shows up when I'm having a bad roll.
Yep.
The warrior
that sets the seal no longer has a retreat as an option. The warrior who sees the seal was allowed to refuse combat. This is the curse of one-on-one combat passed down to us, the Knights of the Red Branch.
That is the real reason behind the magic that Lancer cast. Lady Magus resumes her battle pose. The spearman grips the cursed lance tightly with both hands. The air freezes. Lancer's noble phantasm is eagerly waiting for its master's call. And on the other side, 10 meters away from him, a lead-colored sphere is floating around the Lady Magus' figure. This is a mystery of Bazette Fraga McGremitz, the sword Fragarak from the Age of Gods. Lancer is well aware of her abilities, and has also concluded that its limitless countering power cannot be defeated. Yet, having made that judgment, his grip does not weaken. Your heart. The spearman's arm shriveled with strength. It's not a throw. Lancer's own body becomes one with his spear.
Answerer.
That says, that which comes later cuts first. The sphere starts expanding. The sword of the gods protected by a mysterious force, and a certain concept locks onto the spearman's heart. I'm taking it. Leap and revelation of the true name, all in the same instant. The fight to take the air was the first to take the air was the cursed red spear, Gaybolg.
You took me too lightly, servant.
Fragarak, the sword that alters light, rises to intercept it. The oath of Ngabla leaves no room for hesitation. Both are aiming to destroy the enemy with their greatest strike. The points cross. An attack that means death to both of them. The spearman does not have a shield to deflect the sword, and the Magus cannot dodge the lance. However, if they are to strike each other simultaneously, Lady Magus will come out unharmed. Just by a little. Should the Magus' sword hit the target just a little sooner, the battle will be decided that very instant. Fragarak, the sword that alters light. What the sword gouges out is the enemy's heart. It severs the fate of mutual destruction. It is the cursed sword of certain victory. Because of this, it's impossible for the Fragarak to attack first. The enemy has to use his trump card before that. That's the prerequisite for releasing Fragarak. The enemy will always move first. Accordingly, even if Fragarak defeats the enemy in one blow, Lady Magus will be simultaneously destroyed by the opponent's noble phantasm.
Wait, is Fragarak basically the desire sensor?
I guess that's one way to put it. It sounds like a certain kill is a mutual attack made with the premise of one's own death. However, Bazette's sword reverses all of that. It's released immediately after the activation of the enemy's noble phantasm. Yet no matter how fast the opposing weapon is, it will always reach its target first, taking the enemy's life. The noble phantasm that delivers the final blow with a needle-thin concentrated blast. That alone deserves praise. But truly dreaded power lies in its special ability. That which comes later cuts first. Like what the second name implies, Fragarak warps the idea of cause and effect, rewriting its own attack as the event that occurred first. And the result? No matter how great a noble phantasm may be, the dead cannot use it. The one who's killed first cannot counterattack. Fragarak is a mystic code that exaggerates this fact. It is a conceptual curse that distorts fate. This weapon is a cursed sword of reversal that can nullify any attack. With time as its blade, this trick of the gods has no equal, and therefore, Lancer, who released his spear first, will not be exempted from this curse. Sword of the War God is approaching. Once Fragarak is let loose, it cannot be stopped. The moment he used Gaybolg against Fragarak, he had already lost. The Spearman is well aware of this. To survive an attack made by the Sword of the War God, one needs to possess an auto-resurrection noble phantasm, or more than one life. In other words, something that is resurrected after being killed will be Fragarak's natural enemy. Of course, Lancer does not have anything of the sort. The Spearman knew the conclusion of the battle before he entered. The battle he entered before he even started. I guess guts doesn't count.
Yeah.
I think this is narration now.
At that time, for only a split second, he thought he saw the man in front of him waver.
It's not like I want to say this, but I kind of at my wit's end here. I didn't think there'd be a time limit.
He had no way of understanding what it meant. Only,
Wait, who's talking here? I'm counting on you. At this rate, it's not going to end well. I don't want to see her end up like that.
that man's complaint was the one he had experienced as well. It's an old story.
I think that's Skahak.
Perhaps. I wanted to be killed by your hands. In a serene voice, as in a prayer, the witch from the realm of shadows smiled. Oddly enough, that's when he received his demonic spear. The witch was no longer human. She had excelled too much as a warrior, been too knowledgeable in sorcery, and slain too many men, gods, and spirits. The woman who had been the only teacher that the Hound of Kulan ever looked up to had been saddled with a fate where even her own death was out of her reach. The witch's realm will one day be sundered from the mortal world, reduced to a land of the dead. The reward for a human that became too close to godhood was ascension to a plane that is neither of this world nor the next. What a predicament. I suppose I should have died before I became this way. In the gloomy castle's garden, the witch laughed. It was the same hearty laugh that he was so fond of. The beloved disciple, but still but a youth, had finally arrived at the castle by the shortest route. Even so, if only you were born a little earlier. Young, still so young. The witch chuckled. The beloved disciple accepted it as a mature warrior.
Sorry.
He had intended to live fast, but
It seems we got too sidetracked.
as a man, he had left the woman he loved until it was too late, and he regretted it.
I think it's still narration.
The war god's sword pierces the spearman's chest. Sharp pain, a feeling he had almost forgotten, briefly fills him with energy. Strength flows into the crumbling fist again. The spear has left behind but one regret. The demonic spear ever only took away the lives of his loved ones. His one and only close friend, his son that grew up in a distant foreign land. But before that, it was meant to kill a single woman. Thinking back, he spent his whole life getting sidetracked. One person is not a substitute for another, but if doing so will save someone, then he might as well accomplish now what he regretted not being able to in his youth. His lips curled into a resolute grin. The spearman grimaces as his heart is torn apart, and
but why don't I ever have any luck with good women?
though late in doing so, he complains about his fate. Gotcha! And so, the Lady Magus is confident in her victory. The sword of the war god has hit its target before the enemy's lance. At that moment, the enemy's attack became an impossible event that will disappear back in time. This is the world's fundamental law. As a natural result, protected by the absolute order that is time. Huh? Yet, there is another law for her to learn. A concept may be defeated by another concept. The spearman is no exception to the curse of time either. It ruptures. Like a flash of lightning, the sharp tip pierces through her ribcage. The moment it shoots through her heart, the spear becomes 1,000 sharp thorns, destroying the female Magus's body from within. The spear. Her body breaks open. Pain and surprise force out her sealed memories. Frogrock may be the curse that alters the order of events, but this spear is a weapon that truly reverses the cause and effect itself. The moment its true name is revealed, Gaybolg has already pierced the enemy's heart. Thus, even going back in time to kill its master is useless. For a spear that already held the piercing of the adversary's heart as a result, even the death of its master will not prevent this duty from being fulfilled. Yeah, that's how it was. Her dying brain cannot recognize the enemy in front of her eyes, yet. This was a clash between two opposing rules. The man is the only opponent in this world that would revert it to the natural order.
I didn't say goodbye to you back then.
She notices a spearman before her. A little far. Even if she reaches out as far as she can, she would just barely fail to reach him.
You forgot something. Here, I'll give it back.
The spear is pulled out. With a clank, something hard drops to the ground. Unable to keep upright, the Magus's body collapses. She falls over into a pool of her own blood. With her pupils already fading, she finds the earring carved from ore rolling on the ground. She remembers it. So she manages to reach out and grasp it tightly. This action uses up half of her remaining life, but the feeling of the stone in her palm makes her happy enough for it to be worth it.
That's her.
I know this. This, you know. Lying on the ground, she tries to reach into her pocket. But her arms can no longer move. She cannot take out the amulet she had stowed away. Hey, wait. I have one too. She doesn't understand what she's trying to say herself. But the fact that she can't show what's inside her pocket fills her with so much sorrow. She becomes that much further away from understanding. The spearman is leaving. Eyes full of sorrow, the Magus happily repeats again and again. Wait. I have one. Have one. Have one. Have one. 10 seconds later, even that has stopped. All told, it only took 1 minute. Lancer's prediction was painfully accurate.
Ooh, jeez. Man, that wasn't worth it. How are you still standing? Stepping away from Bizet's corpse, Lancer lets out a heavy sigh. He's using his spear like a walking stick to support his bloodstained body. In any case, the outcome was clear. The only one left is Bizet's servant, Avenger. Without his master, he shouldn't put up too much of a fight. Well done. So, got anything left to take me on, Lancer? I didn't say yes, but oh well. Guess it just ain't happening with me like this. Mitchell's body is fading away. The battle between Fragorak and Gaybolg was one of mutual destruction. Each received a blow, but there's no reason why Lancer would be the only survivor. Sorry about that. Do whatever you want from here on out. After all, my work here is done, right, kid? This must be a true man's spirit. Muttering something about losing face, he soon disappears. But what now? Bizet, though thought to be the one reproducing the Holy Grail War, is now defeated. There's no dramatic change yet, but we should be freed from the binds of these 4 days at dawn. As if, just killing Bazette ain't gonna stop the Holy Grail War. After all, as long as I'm here, the girl's gonna keep coming back to life over and over. The shadow laughs. His master is dead, yet Avenger still seems to be unaffected. You. Hey, wait, calm down. You went to all the trouble of killing Bazette. Now you get a special show. Oh boy, here we go. The moon has dyed black. All of a sudden, those beasts have gathered around the church. Failed. Kuh. Wait, what the? They aren't going to attack? The beasts aren't moving an inch. Their glittering eyes are transfixed not by me, but on the servant. Delayed by the failure of another, distorted by the perverted glee. Yes, again. Failed again. Damn it, I lost my master, so I guess I gotta join them now. Spoken like a condemned criminal, terrified of the ultimate punishment. I don't want this, he says. The servant genuinely begs me to help, then. With a tearing sound, he transforms into a hideous monster. Yes. What the hell are you? He's the same. The servant Avenger's entire body is melting, morphing to the shape of one of those beasts. This is how I fail. Look closely at me, Ashiro. This is my true form. I'll keep losing forever. I'll keep dying forever. As long as I'm here, the Holy Grail War will not end. You too. His body is shivering. The thing that used to be Avenger, despite being terrified by the surrounding beasts and bleeding profusely over its body, holds on to its sanity and continues to cry out. Listen, go to the Heaven's Cup. Fill the blank spaces. Stop. Fill the Holy Grail. Stop it. Erase all the possibilities. Stop it. I can't see anything. Yes, come and kill the real me. Stop it, don't come. If you come to kill me, I'll kill you too. The Black Shadow is being devoured by the beasts. The ceremony did not take much time. The beasts are disappearing one by one, and then finally, in its place. Lacking all signs of intelligence, a new hideous creature is crouching in front of me. Our eyes meet. The creature tilts its head curiously, then hops into the bushes like a frog. I'm the only one left in the square. Bazette's body has disappeared without a trace as well. Returning to the first day, probably. Heaven's Cup? The words are familiar. Heaven's Cup. In the Holy Grail War 6 months ago, there was a little girl that went by that name. That should be the last piece of the puzzle. On that day, awaiting its end with the break of dawn. In the winter castle where the little girl waits, the last path will be revealed.
I guess you're visiting Ilya.
Yep. Learned the truth.
So, where is Karen during that entire situation? They're at the church.
Yeah. The winter castle, the Holy Grail awaits. Learn the truth. Exit, restart.
Karen's just watching the show with popcorn.
Yeah.
She's like, I know they're gonna have to repeat anyways. I'm not gonna go out.
Yeah. Yep. Chapter 7, Cradle Hollow.
There is a hole in my chest. Something warm is spilling out of the wound, and something cold invades me in its place. A dreadful yet calming feeling. This is death. I feel a little pain and a little comfort in this peaceful darkness. It was 8 days before the beginning of the Fifth Holy Grail War. I arrived at the city of Fuyuki and began preparing for the battle. After learning the topography of the location, I decided on the hiding place that would become my base. With everything perfectly prepared, I summoned a servant. Unlike all the work I've done until now, this process made my heart swing. It was not the joy of an anticipation of fighting. Two things happened that made me feel happy for the first time. About my duties. You told me to cross the ocean. You said to travel across the wide world. Uncertain of myself, I asked in trepidation if he was in any way dissatisfied with having to form a contract with me. To which the servant I summoned replied,
Back in the past, I once fought alongside a warrior woman. I could see a trace of that woman in you.
His laughter felt so good, it made my unease feel ridiculous. It's not that I was betrayed. It's just that they had unshakable hearts from the very beginning. I was all show and never decided on the self that every person must have by the time they reach adulthood. I never had any confidence. Focusing entirely on forging the armor of my autonomous self, I was never able to forgive my living self. My inner self weak and cowardly, I have been disappointed by the world ever since the moment I was born.
You go through each
You
day.
go... Oh yeah.
Yeah. You go through each day as if it was work.
My father used to say, that's because I had given up. I was unable to hope, and by having no hope, I let every day pass me by. But that's because I was scared of everything. In truth, I wanted to be rewarded more than anyone else, and yet I continued deceiving myself, pretending to be wise. In truth, I could have enjoyed those days like an ordinary person would, and yet I continued averting my eyes because I would lose it all one day. In truth, being like this is so easy. I want to overcome this weakness so much that I've accepted that I can't bear, that I'll live out my life to live my life. Feeling so miserable. To be honest, I didn't want to die. And then I fall down to this place. The hell I kept on tasting with every repetition. The bottom of the pot made solely from the resentment and hatred of the dead for all living things.
Die.
Being here is painful. It cannot possibly be compared with the previous sense of peace. Having suffered through death already, I feel like I'll lose my mind having to suffer here afterwards. It lasts for about a few minutes before a revival, yet this feeling still makes me nauseous every time. The first time I experienced it, I called it hell. I do not know whether that place is what people call hell or not. What I do know is that it was hideously repulsive to one possessing a mind that is the foulest pit imaginable. But that's not right. This is not hell. This is not the place the dead fall down to. My hell and my rebirth was a peace I felt a while ago. That's why this is. I had realized it long ago.
That's so? That's weird. I don't feel anything special though. It's like before I realized it, I'm here.
This is where he came from. The way the thing called anger.
Sorry. Wait.
The thing called anger mind you is what you saw last.
Yeah, that's all right. This is not hell.
Okay.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Oh. Oh my god. Those places people call hell or not? What? Wait.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting real lost now. Hey. Yeah, I think we're here.
But that's not right. This is not hell. This is not the place the dead fall down to. My hell and my rebirth was a peace I felt a while ago. That's why this is. I'd realized it long ago. His.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yes. There.
This is where you came from. The way the thing called Angraminyu was before putting on its disguise. It is the place where he remained before forming a contract with me. And this is where he will return once our contract ends, this false world. Yet, there is no pain in it for him. A place that is nothing but suffering to a human like me does not bother him in the slightest. This memory is his everyday life. Prison, plunder, abuse, contempt, an eternal void. At the end of the suffering, having affirmed the ugly side of humanity, a selfless trance. No happiness, no sadness, not to mention suffering. Nothing exists here. It is the Pure Land. This was the life of a certain youth, said to be the epitome of all evil in the world. But all that blank space is already starting to get filled. Once the picture is finished, he will simply return to that place. No matter how artificial it may be, this Holy Grail War is his ideal world. I don't trust the likes of him anymore. But I wonder, why is he trying to make this wish end? I wake up from my slumber. It was the most vivid death I had until now, yet I also feel calmer than ever before. No, maybe they're just frozen solid. Both my reason and emotion, the way I am now, I can do anything, no doubt.
Yo, up already, Master? Glad to see you nice and calm.
Same as always, I can see Avenger's figure in the corner of the room, occupied with a puzzle. It's getting on my nerves. He's supposed to be my familiar, yet he does nothing the way I want him to. If you're originally a formless shadow, how about I lock you up in an insect cage?
Oh, still full of vigor, are you? You sure can take a hit. Got done in by your ex-servant, no less, but you look like you still won't put up with it.
Wicked laughter. Gah. A flame lights up again in my chilled mind. What I can't let slide isn't his loose manners, it's his air of a villain that he assumes. Angraminyu, why? This Holy Grail War is not just my own desire, no. There is someone who has yearned for it far more than I ever did. I do not understand. Our wish is one and the same. So why are you trying to end it? I shout with clenched fist. More than why I had been betrayed, I want to know how he feels. And yet...
I give up. I'm bored.
He utters right away. Up until now, I have done nothing short of a stellar job of hiding my own emotions. Avenger.
Hey, don't glare at me like that. Look, you gotta be satisfied too, right? Getting to enjoy the Holy Grail War to your heart's content, even finding out most of the details and all that. But you know what? There wasn't a single thing here you actually needed. Well, Cutting it off myself is kind of against the rules for a familiar, but this has gone on long enough. Let's tear up our contract, Master. Do that, and the story ends here.
Knowing full well what it means, Avenger holds out his hand. I cannot do this. I've crossed paths with many up until this point, but once I've taken another's hand, I can never let it go. Avenger, can you still see me? Avenger's body wavers ever so slightly. As I thought. He has all but returned to the void already.
Heh, just so you know, I have no intentions of stopping this Holy Grail war, much less going back to being a corpse. Oh, oops, oh, that was her line. Well, I see. Well, if my master says so, ain't got no choice but to keep the contract going, but in that case, I guess that's all that's left is to have the real winner of the war break the Grail again, huh?
What? That can't be possible.
Oh, sure it is. After all, he's done it once already. Didn't I tell you? It's a reproduction of the fifth time. The same guy who smashed it before makes it to Holy Grail. Makes it to Holy Grail. Ain't gonna be surprised when he smashes it again.
Right, that's Avenger's last trump card. No, it's the final act before the curtains fall, planned from the very beginning. Avenger.
Hmm?
I pinned the black shadow to the wall. I wish I had done this sooner. Even though you're supposed to be my servant, you've disobeyed me far too many times. I leave no room for a counterattack. I'll use the command spell right now, and there's no cage around to confine him in. In that case, the likes of you might as well just become my left arm. Ha, ha, ha. With this, he can no longer go out and meet the winner of the Holy Grail War on his own. I don't want to die. I don't want to kill him either. Therefore, from here on, I will protect the Holy Grail. Ha, ha, ha. I will not cancel the contract. Angra, anyone who says they will end this world is my enemy, even if it's you. Come, let us continue the Holy Grail War. The Holy Grail is mine. This wish is mine. I won't let anyone destroy them.
Next, ataraxia.
What's with the Emiya servants and the whole, arm transfer thing? First Archer did that, and now it's forced upon Angra.
Oh, we're actually going to the church. He said it was going to be the last time, so...
It's like, so Karen, what were you doing last night?
The fourth time. There's nothing to do with the church. I mean, sure, should have no more business over there. Well, at this point, one or two more detours couldn't hurt. I'll just waste some time. Everything just piled up one after the another so quickly. Both my mind and body are fatigued. This might be a poor motive, but it's all that woman impart me with some of her vitality again. And by vitality, what do you mean?
Eh?
The music abruptly stops. Karen vacantly stares at me as if she's just seen a ghost. Why are you stopping? You haven't stopped for anything even once until now. Returning her stare, I take my usual seat. Having come all this way, even this pew was comfortable. Hey, what's wrong? Why don't you keep going? Don't mind me and just play like you always do. I'll wait until the end. I threw out a few jeers.
No. If you have something to discuss, I will attend to it now.
That's fair. You telling me this antisocial woman actually has the capacity to be considerate this whole time? I would have liked her to have shown it on the first or second visit. Right now, having my needs attended to just bothers me. Someday I'm going to teach her how to read the mood, if I ever get the opportunity. That's fine. I've been feeling tired, so I was going to get work. I want to get worked up. Just ignore me and do what you always do.
I will continue playing. But what do you mean by that?
Oops, it doesn't seem like she get like the expression "get worked up." I'm saying that I get energized. That organ playing of yours is great for recharging. Listening to it sends a shock through my brain. Unsatisfied, Karen turns back to the organ. Apparently, she can't understand how getting worked up and shocked are related. And shocks are related. In any case, the performance resumed. Life is breathed into the non-existent organ once again. Her thin fingers, covered in wounds, touch the keyboard. For the fourth time, the grating melody reverberates in the chapel. Surprisingly, it's different from than before. Perhaps because the performer's fingers were filled with passion. Waves of sound that were only vaguely irritating before now clearly stimulate my nerves. Just like that. I clearly feel my irritation turn to anger, and finally the rationality I decorated myself with dissolves.
Is there nothing you find beautiful?
That woman said something like that. The feeling like that have long since gone away. I feel at ease now. All I need to do is see things for what they are. Having personal sentiments is a burden in many ways. And yet, why? Stop screwing around. A glimpse of a strange landscape flashes before my eyes. I don't understand its significance. Just a desolate wasteland, a summit far above the ground where the air is thin. But why do I recall that now? An irrelevant thought that would not fade even if cast away. It's not just a feeling of hatred that remains, but this scenery that has burned into my eyes as well. Stop screwing around. Why am I remembering this kind of place? There shouldn't be anything. There shouldn't be anything there. Nothing. This is getting that echo from me again, Misaki.
Uh-oh.
I can't let my heart waver. It's too late now. I can't allow myself to embrace something like sentimental thoughts. It's not like the past will change just because I remembered it. It mustn't turn into something beautiful out of some mistaken sentiment or some mistaken fantasy. I affirm the things the way they are. I mustn't think that things which aren't mine belong to me just because of nostalgia. Your pride is in having nothing. Your meaning is in being nothing. When you fabricate something that doesn't even exist, you become no different from a meaningless sacrifice. Even so, it's still true. It's true that nothing existed here, but hadn't I wished for there to be meaning in that? Her performance is over before I knew it. As far as my goal of regaining some vitality goes, I can't help but say it was a letdown. And then I realized Karen is standing in front of me. Now that I think about it, does she want something from me?
I thought you would no longer be coming here.
Same. I wonder why. Must not have been thinking. Here I thought I'd be revitalized, but instead I've been drained.
You were the one who said to continue. Did you not like me playing?
Well, yeah, I got no problem with your technique. I'm amazed you can last all the way through, all wrapped up in bandages like that. I'm impressed. Hey, wait. Could it be that you're actually really good at playing the organ?
I can boast that I am second to none. Refining my strong points is my hobby.
You seem confident for once. I see. So you were good at it, huh? I've done something rude. What would you do if I said I'd been appreciating it with the same mindset as watching a school play?
I am glad you understand. Incidentally, I would like to hear about which part of my performance you didn't like.
Well, the part where I get sleepy from listening to it. I'm not saying to use electricity, but you should try to liven it up a little. Also, the whole accepting of everything style is boring. I want to hear you really rail against the establishments, like get so emotional you start kicking the keyboard. It'd be perfect if you add some heavy distortion.
Isn't that the fault of the piece rather than myself? Furthermore, perhaps the person listening has bad taste as well.
Okay, well, what, is this audience member being rude?
To the point of being beyond words, this is nothing in my vocabulary to express it.
I turn away, try not to laugh. Though this was a hard woman to understand, but I see. If she reacts like this when you poke at something she's proud of.
What?
Nothing, just dealing with something that welled up a bit. You're kind of stubborn, aren't you? Your music teacher must have had a hard time training you.
Please do not make assumptions about me by your standards. Besides, I should have already related my personal history to you. Because I have been isolated, wouldn't you think that I am self-taught?
Surely you at least have a music teacher. There's proper rules in your sound. Something like the will of the player that has been passed along through the hands of many people. Your organ isn't something played for yourself, right? Your playing is woven from many people, like universal music. Only technique can be refined through self-study. A genius can't construct a concept that transcends time. Those who shine through their talent are the flowers of the tree. And those who shine through their heritage become a trunk and nurture the tree. Well, leaving aside that sort of complicated talk, having someone teach you is the fastest way to improve. You probably prioritize practicality over appearances. That's what I meant by stubborn. I think you're the type that does her best for something she really likes, but...
I cannot agree with your conjecture. However, it is true that, as a special exception, I had an instructor and time set aside for me to learn music. Although I did run into a few problems along the way.
See, you don't get discouraged even when being scolded. As I thought, you don't really take any damage. There's something in you that other people just can't change. Who's the one who said that she has no self again? Really, all your children are so thick-skinned. What is this? Okay. Wicked laughter. Huh? What's putting me in such a good mood? I don't know if it's because of the entertainment or if it's because I'm feeling a bit careless, but I'm getting a bit high. On the other hand, she became stiff and stood still. Seems that something has struck home for her, too.
Skinned?
Yeah, even enough to rival your predecessor. She looks a bit stiff as she searches for words. Observe this rare moment of clumsiness. Perhaps I'm in an uplifting mood because my senses have relaxed. Desire I've pretended not to see until now begin to pulse in unison with my heartbeat.
Ugh.
There's a subtle sound like the tearing of thin vinyl. The scent of blood spills out from the bottom of her vestments. What's wrong? Your period?
Good assumption. It is only a wound opening up. I apologize. But,
Yeah, I'll move back a row. Sorry, that was completely my fault. There we go. I moved the seat to the seat behind me. Now I'm a bit further away. The scent of blood is fainter. It must be tough on you, still wandering the streets at night, even with your wounds opening up. That's right. I recall you dutifully come searching for me at night on the 4th day.
that's right. Until the recreation of the Holy Grail War ends, every 4th night I must go out into the streets. Of course, that is not the sole reason for my fatigue. Recently, I've started an imitation of a demon exorcism.
I didn't think of it. The previous loop was on the 3rd night, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, but then she was still at the church then, in that
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, but
She would have seen everything.
Yep. Ooh. I wasn't actually paying attention. To be honest, just because the smell of blood is fainter now doesn't mean that I'm completely... Excuse me. That I'm completely in control. For instance, my eyes are fixated on the wounds hidden by those white bandages. And by those slender arms and shoulders that seem as if they'd break just by being held down. Or even her white belly, wet with blood. It surely is fresh and unceasing like those sweet fish skewers. Is the exorcism going well?
No, not in the least. I have performed many exorcisms before now, but I have yet to say this kind of case is a first for me.
So this one is a toughie. Red blotches surfaced on her bandages. Luscious, raw. I thought that she was like a doll, but she was plenty fresh and rare.
In terms of strength, it would be among the weak. But there is one thing different about it, and that is throwing me off. I mean, this demon is harsh with me.
What? Doesn't it go without saying that demons are harsh?
No, as a rule, demons are gentle. Regardless of the result, they are the imaginary element that understands one's pain and attempts to remove it. Depending on perspective, one can view them as allies to humans. No matter what happens, they do not rebuke a human.
I feel like she's tempting me. Her hands are folded in prayer, fingers intertwined, wounded body. Reminds me of... And yet, this is something dedicated to God, not intended to be offered to a demon. Someone who does nothing but accept things as they are. A convenient sacrifice that accepts sin without reason. Whoa. I didn't...
Dangerous.
There was no nudity there, right? Explicit? I don't think I saw it.
I didn't see any, but it's starting to get dangerous.
Yeah. This is bad. If I don't switch out of this mind. Okay, just to be safe, I gotta keep the center screen up for a little bit. This impulse will end up breaking down my shell. Okay. This stag's
Is something
gone.
wrong? You don't look well.
Alright, I think we're safe for now. I'm fine, just feeling a little anemic. Anyway, about what you were saying, you've never seen a case like this before, so in other words, it's interesting?
Not at all. The only thing unexpected is how irritating it is. Oh well, honestly, perhaps I have had enough. Even though I had intervened of my own accord, it doesn't seem like I can do much about it. I wonder if it would be fine to withdraw around here?
Whichever, do what you want. What? It's not like you said you're physical or irresponsible.
That is true, but... See? You're harsh.
Harsh, she says. This is the first time I've been told that. I think I've been told before that I'm someone who is patient and someone who is impatient, but which one was called which? I still can't switch. This one is a formidable opponent. Wonder whether she can see me with those golden eyes. This isn't possible. To think that my cocoon is on the verge of collapse with just 4 encounters. By any chance, did you take that seriously?
Huh?
I look up at her. Oh wait, I think he said, huh? Or, oh no, wait.
My apologies.
Okay. Yeah, it's her.
My apologies. I merely wanted to try teasing you a little. Do not worry, I will not abandon you halfway through. After all, to be your guide is the role I have assigned myself.
Yeah, come to think of it, our relationship was originally just to exchange information. The first time was helpful, but it's been fairly useless since then, so I forgot.
That is because you talk about unrelated matters. If only you would talk about something important, I could give you my counsel.
That's so, but there's something left I should ask about. The relationship between Miyashiro and Karen has already been settled by the 3rd visit. Sorry, but it's already just about over. Getting back to what you said earlier, actually. By now it should be okay for you to withdraw. As for the exorcism, I guess give up and look for your next catch. That's the end of it. Soon, even this relation will come to an end.
I understand this is a foolish question. Nevertheless, are you fine with that?
Of course I am. That's why I've gone through all this.
Is that by your own will? For what purpose do you seek to resolve this wish?
Isn't it obvious? Because I'm Miyashiro. At least just this once, I want to try to help someone. I have no doubts. My answer for the 2nd visit is what I truly, sincerely believe. I take my leave. I want to think that even being able to say those words just now made this time meaningful. Wait. I can't hang around any longer. Now pause and head for the door. You are nothingness. As long as there is something unborn, something unknown, you can continue to exist. There aren't many gaps left. Might as well fill them quickly. Once everything has been born, you have nowhere to go. The closer these days come to ending, the more you lose your radiance. I'm not losing it. It's just that you'll lose interest in this world and return to your original state of nothingness. I revert to my original proper form. That's all. Anything? Ooh, go for a walk.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. Alone with Saber.
Let's go with Saber.
Okay.
Since I feel like walking alone's gonna just lead to a dead end automatic.
No matter how often I come here, the church is always the same. Saber hasn't noticed anything either. There's nothing here. Let's go elsewhere. Hopefully I'll have a definite objective the next time I'm here. Well, that was useless.
Wow! Well, at least he lived.
Yeah, we are running out of stuff.
It's time to walk alone then.
Yep.
What's the worst that can happen?
No matter how often I come here, the church is always the same. There's nothing here. Let's go elsewhere. Hopefully I'll have a definite objective the next time I'm here.
Oh! He lived.
Yep. Alright, 3rd day. Someone on the big bridge. Huh? In the middle of the bridge, something strange catches my eye. I stop and stare, but I can't possibly understand what their intention is. Just what are you trying to do? If I leave it alone, it'll come back to bite me later. As a friend, I should at least give a word of caution.
What's this? I thought I saw something suspicious crawling up here like a spider, but it's none other than Shiro-kun from the Emiya household. What brings you to a place like this? It's dangerous here, in the middle of the road, you know. Could it be that you're planning to jump off?
Suddenly I feel drained. For her to seriously worry I'm going to jump off, I just don't get her thought process. You know, Tosaka, I don't think this is the right reaction to someone worrying about the well-being of a friend. Also, you're the one who's doing something dangerous.
Eh? No way. You saw that, Emiya-kun? Wait, then you saw. You were looking? No way. No, you were staring. Damn it!
Huh? 0.2 seconds after I tilted my head in confusion at Tosaka's eccentric behavior. A single punch, as if to counterattack, made explosive contact with the side of my head.
I'm sorry, it was a misunderstanding. Sorry.
She lowers her arms to her sides with a slight bow. In addition to her study of Chinese martial arts, it seems like Tosaka has taken up karate too. No, that was incredible, Tosaka. The way you used your entire body as you threw it, that was one magnificent right hook. It may have even fractured my cheekbone. I won't say it, but I tell her through the look in my eyes that her feelings alone aren't enough to earn my forgiveness.
Like I already said, I'm sorry. Everything just now was completely my fault. Everywhere, from the top to the bottom, was my carelessness.
It's unusual to hear such an earnest apology from Tosaka. Troubling people like this... Troubling people is like a hobby for this red devil. But the moment when one of her careless mistakes ends up making trouble for someone, she becomes unexpectedly meek. At times like these, Tosaka tends to do whatever she pleases, but unfortunately, the place she chose is a 2-lane roadway with a 60km/h speed limit, where even the slightest negligence get you run over. Wait, what is kilometers per hour converted to miles? Let's do flank kilometer to miles. Okay, about 37 miles per hour.
Hmm.
I guess that's about right for a bridge. I'll try to slow down a bit next time if your first reaction is to punch someone. I'm worried about your future. Not so much for her future as those of the innocent people in your vicinity.
How rude. I'm usually more calm. If it was anyone else that saw me, I would have restrained myself.
What? So in your mind, I'm guilty by default?
No, that's not it. I mean that if it had been someone else, I wouldn't have panicked or felt so embarrassed. No, I mean anybody in the situation would have been guilty in my eyes. Yeah.
I don't really see your point. You're saying that only because it was me, that misunderstanding just now was a heavier offense?
That's right. Right. Because you've got really good eyes, Shiro.
So that's it. At this point, even I can understand what's going on. After eating that devastating punch, I explained that I had just gotten here and she entered self-loathing mode. After that, she refused to say anything like, don't ask me why, but... Anything but don't ask me why. I don't get
it. Or is that him?
I don't get it. What? Did you climb up that steel frame? Are normal streets just too boring for you? Bullseye, huh? Apparently, before I arrived, Tosaka had been elegantly observing the city below from on top of that steel arch. This, that art there is from Stay Night. Like after he had lost Saber and she kind of jumped away with Archer.
Aren't you unusually sharp today, Amiya-kun?
As I thought. Oh, wait.
As I thought you were watching from the beginning.
If I watched you from the beginning, I wouldn't have stopped you immediately. Climbing up there is reckless, even for you. This isn't the circus. If you fall, you won't get away with just a few scrapes. Honestly, don't make me worry so much. Idiot. I hit her head with a light chop. Tosaka took my chop without complaint. Well, what can I say? It's impolite to say this, but Amik Tosaka isn't bad either. I don't know what you were trying to do, but next time, please just walk like a normal person. If you do that, then I'll call it even for the right hook just now.
Fine, I can't make any promises, but I'll try my best not to do it again. Unless it's do or die. Well, I'm done investigating anyway.
Saying I can't make any promises is just like her. At the very least, it means there's a possibility of her climbing this arch once more. Say, Tosaka, you weren't investigating the monsters I told you about, were you?
Wait, just what in the world is going on? You're very observant today of all days. Guessing that I was up on that steel frame is one thing, but how do you connect that with the familiars?
Well, how I put it, it's just that... Damn. I met one here before doing exactly the same thing as Tosaka, but I'm not sure if I should tell her that.
It's what?
It's just that Archer did something pretty similar right here. I knew she'd react like this. The relationship between Tosaka and Archer isn't really something I can easily explain. Even though their contract has been called off, there's no sign that either of them has cancelled it. So like now, they show interest in the same things while pretending not to notice each other. Instead, it's a relationship of give and take.
I was wondering why he never came by to greet me. And there he is again, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. So, what did he say, Amiya-kun?
Let's see. Well, nothing specific. He said he thinks of them as enemies and other stuff like if you defeat one more if you defeat one more will come take its place, and just leave them alone because they're harmless.
Anything else? Did he show any sign that he knew something about the source of these monsters you spoke of?
I don't think so. It looked like he was still at the stage of trying to figure out what their goals are.
Huh? He's already investigated here and couldn't figure out something so simple. Those things could have only one goal.
Wait, I'm the one who's surprised. Tosaka, you know what those monsters are after?
Yeah. I don't know why they're doing it, but their objective is obvious, isn't it? Amiya-kun, from what you told me, those monsters are only killing you, right?
Well, that's true, but...
In that case, it's simple. They only appear in the fourth night and only go after you, who feels there's something off about the last 4 days. They're gathering to stop you from clearing it.
So wait, why did they show up on the third night then? Unless it was like a skip ahead? For some reason I feel a chill go down my spine. Just as she says, those monsters were only being have only been... Oh wait, no, actually, no. I guess they showed up, but they didn't attack them on the third night. They left. I felt the chill go down my spine. Just as she says, those monsters have only been killing me. This shouldn't be surprising at all. but to stop you from clearing it. Something about that phrasing was nauseatingly repulsive.
Then again, I'm starting to wonder what the point of it is. I want to see these monsters, but no matter how much I search, I can't find them. That damn Archer, how did he find them?
Archer has taken up position on the roof of the Shinto Center building. It snipes at the monsters trying to invade. Without the great field of vision from that building's roof and Archer's hawk eyes, the discovery would have been difficult.
So, did he say anything else? Something like, "Oh, I can't do this alone," or "I could really use some help right about now."
No, nothing like that. He didn't say anything, but he did glare at Ryoto Temple.
Ryudo Temple? I see, the familiars are flowing out from that direction.
I remember Issei's ghost story. The Kageyama Entrail Graveyard. The mountain used to abandon an old woman to die when not even the dead are buried. What is left is a mountain of discarded meat. Truly, it is a suitable graveyard for these creatures.
Okay, I think I understand the genuine situation now. It's a shame I couldn't find those monsters. Well, I'm sure they'll show up in the end.
Tosaka stretches lazily, as if to say there's no point in investigating here anymore.
I'm going home. But what about you, Amiya-kun? Shall we head back together?
No, I've still got things to do in town. Let's part here.
Oh, well, see you then. Don't wander around too late.
Tosaka heads to the footbridge. Jumping over there is no problem with her athletic prowess, but she really could just pick clothes better suited for these kinds of stunts. Well, leaving that aside. Hey, is it really okay to leave Archer alone like that?
Why not? Whatever he's doing, it's got nothing to do with me. You really shouldn't expect anything from him either, Amiya-kun. When it comes down to that, he's all talk and no action.
Then can I count on you instead, Tosaka?
Of course. You have to finish what you start after all. If you make it to the end, I'll help you out however I can, to make up for that right hook.
Without hesitation, Tosaka jumps over the footbridge and lands with a soft thump. This is different than that time with Archer. Leaving behind a feeling of refreshments, the Red Magus gracefully exits the stage. Wallpaper added. Oh, right, this room. Perhaps I should pop into the storehouse for a moment and see how things look. All I've been doing in here lately is organizing the place, so thought I'd try fixing some of the broken things I had set aside for a change. I assume it's right.
Shiro, do you have a moment?
What is got?
Shiro, its condition is poor, so I wanted you to take a look.
Something is loose somewhere.
Something is loose somewhere.
Oh, sorry.
Even when I just press on it with my hand, it feels unsteady. With just a slight touch, the tension here becomes weak. Maybe because I have been treating it as roughly as I like up until now.
Oh, so this huge chest barrier was Ryder. No, that's not it. Fix what? Impossible. Something like that is definitely impossible, and I'm the last person you should be asking. Look for these kinds of issues, Saber wouldn't have a clue, so Tosaka is definitely a no-go. Right, Sakura will understand, I'm sure. Right, now, Sakura is the one I can count on. Only Sakura will do. Go find Sakura. Does she think she's talking about her bra or something? Like,
It is about the bicycle. Shiro, are you busy right now?
No, not as busy as Sakura is.
It certainly is starting to get cold outside, Shiro.
Damn, this height difference. If I were another head taller, I wouldn't have lost face in that misunderstanding. Even walking beside her is just...
Shiro, is it not the time to start wearing something warm that will cover your neck? The blood-sucking teeth marks are... it certainly is starting to get cold outside.
Hearing those words come from so far above makes me feel like a kindergartner being spoken to by a teacher. Height differences weighing on my mind, whether I like it or not. Also, the teeth marks.
Yeah.
Ryder, you sure are tall.
Yes.
I really envy you. I wish I were a bit taller. You look dignified, like a model, and you have the kind of charm that attracts everyone's attention as soon as you appear.
But
Oh?
it is simply not cute.
Cute.
A petite body is the very premise of being cute. In this regard, I am hopeless.
True, cute tends to be used to praise something small and delicate. Ryder has the opposite qualities. Meanwhile, King Protea is adorable and...
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be thought of as cute. What would a cute Ryder look like? Thought she could plushie that she always talks to. Playing video games and getting so absorbed in them that she'd move along with the characters. Hitting her head on the coffee table and knocking yourself out.
What? Not very cute to me.
Picking at the tea cakes that Issei shared with me, saying...
Mm-hmm. What shall we do with these, Shiro?
and grinning ear to ear. I think all those positions are already filled. People yearn for what they do not have, and apparently even Ryder, who looks like a faultless beauty to me, is no exception. There's not much you can do about that. Oh right, looking at it from the other side, what are the benefits of being tall? What are the benefits of being tall?
There are none.
What about being able to reach even the highest shelf at a store, or being able to find, or being easy to find when meeting someone in a crowd?
If you subtract the disadvantages, it will definitely end up negative.
Disadvantages? What are the disadvantages? She has a pensive, melancholic look, as if she's deep in thought. Looking up at her, I get the impression that she's really distressed on the inside. Perhaps there's a lot of filth I end up not seeing due to my height, but Ryder has a plain view. Even so, I'm still envious of tall people. They can forget the minor stuff and let their feelings become grand. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, that's right. Climbing up to a high place makes you feel so grand that you just want to yell at the top of your lungs. Isn't that nice, being up high by virtue of being so tall? Wait, yoo-hoo? Who would go around yelling yoo-hoo at my age? Nobody in the right mind, that's for sure. No, this yoo-hoo is... Oh.
Yoo-hoo! As one do.
What? Ilya? Coming from high up. Watch out.
Ooh.
Flying and falling. As an inevitable law of physics, and not even Ilya is above it.
Me. Me.
Good. However, why is this creature that cannot fly in the sky always try to do so? Why is it creatures that cannot fly in the sky? The real reason might be that falling is more fun than flying. I
I made it.
Oh, she dies. Keep yourself in a basic arch stance, and I execute a perfect catch. But what? I couldn't cancel out the kinetic energy. My rush to protect Ilya ended up tumbling magnificently to the ground.
Aw. Are you alright, Cheeto?
Ouch. That prank was too much. Ilya seems to be alright. Although my now battered body is another story.
Honestly, this place is such a junk heap that it's downright dangerous. If it were to collapse on you, there'd be no way you get out uninjured.
Oh, I think it might have been his line. But that's why I want to be taller. I could have caught her easily just now.
You worry too much, Cheeto. Kya?
I stiffened, thinking she might have gotten caught on something. I looked back. The bicycle rider was pushing his fallen down. Rider is frozen stiff, her arms held out in the air as if she's holding the handlebars. Rider? She hasn't even noticed that the bicycle is down. Look over at her and see what might be wrong, and realize that the pupils in her eyes behind her mystic eye-killing glasses aren't focusing. Ryder, are you okay?
Yes, elder sister.
So I was her elder sister. Come to think of it, every time Ryder's with me, she's always considerate, stepping aside and acting with particular respect. Honestly, I don't mind her reserved demeanor, but I've been struggling to find words to describe that kind of distance between us. I see. So I was her elder sister. Like hell I am. No, it is... Oh, that's her.
No, it is nothing, Shiro. Please pretend that did not happen.
Ryder looks around awkwardly. She's behaving really suspiciously.
Oh, right. I wanted to ask you to have a look at the bike. It is not functioning properly. Something is loose somewhere. Even when I just press on it with my hand, it feels unsteady. It may be because I've been treating it as roughly as I like up until now. Nevertheless, I would like to request your help in repairing it if possible.
Yeah, I heard you mention that just a bit ago. That's actually not a bike, but a cat's-roll tower that's every feline loves. Multi-purpose jungle gym in which cats can climb, sharpen their claws, and take care of their business. Fujine picked it up from somewhere and stuck it in the storeroom. The bike is still down there.
Yeah!
What? As if to break through the awkward silence, the white one dives again. I can't take my eyes off this little berserker for an instant.
Let me summon Ilya Berserker.
This time the comment is heading straight for Ryder. Ryder, please.
Yes. Eh?
She'll be fine. With her tall stature and supernatural strength, she can catch Ilya easily. How nice it is to be tall. Look, she doesn't even flinch after catching Ilya. She doesn't flinch, but...
Why?
Dumbstruck, Ryder has turned into a statue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryder?
Wow, Ryder's actually scared. Yeah.
Ryder, of all people, is shrieking in terror, all the while attempting to shake off Ilya, who is clinging onto her. There's some serious psychological issues at play here, no doubt.
No, Shiro, please hurry up and get her off of me. You're so rude treating a Fräulein like a caterpillar. Because you said that, I will do this to you.
Hugging her neck, Ilya rubs her cheek against Ryder's face.
Yeah!
What a strange reaction. Don't tell me there are secrets to Ryder which we are not yet aware of. There are indeed. Now let us tell the tale of a distant foreign country. It's a dark tale tainted with fresh blood. A story of a female monster, the mere mention of which makes one tremble in fear. The legend of Medusa. Yep. For narration time.
It takes place in a foreign land known as the Shapeless Isle. A faraway island that lies beyond the Okeanos, known to no one but the three Grey Witches. The Grey?
Yeah, something like that.
It is said that a fallen goddess that transformed into the terrible Gorgon lived there. Many warriors reached this temple shrouded in mystery. Some went to confirm the legend of the Gorgon. Others went to claim glory, the glory of slaying the Gorgon. Some were dispatched to the island with an oracle's dazzling prophecy. Yet others equipped themselves with swords, spears, bows, and arrows and traveled there with nary a word spoken to anyone else. Yet none of them still breathe. Not a single one escaped that island alive. They did not die and return to the earth either. Turned to stone alive, their lives simply ended there. The owner of Cybele, the mystic eyes of petrification, walks through the temple. Her hair is like the silk of the Far East. Her skin is white like freshly fallen snow. And yet, she is drier than the desert of Nubia, and more vicious than a sandstorm. She gazes at the stone statues of the petrified heroes, taking special notice of one of them. The statue of a huge man carrying a spear. His bulging sinews remind her of the great physical strength he had when he was still alive. As the temple's queen looks over the stone figure, her lips curve slightly. She raises her strange-looking dagger overhead in front of the pitiful man. Pulling the chain attached to the double-edged dagger now sticking out from the statue, she wraps it around another statue. Standing in front of the chain, now stretched between the two figures, she bends down to the basket at her feet and picks up a heap of laundry. What? How cute. This is so nice. In the basket are a multitude of clothes made from expensive silk and linen, decorated with laces and ribbons. She washes them all diligently, rinsing in the river and then hanging them up on the chains one by one. Stoically, she labors on. The moment it falls into her hands, a spear turns into a clothesline, a sword into a hanger, and a helmet into a shoe drying rack. Thus, having finished hanging at the laundry, she notices a single statue casting a shadow on the clothes and proceeds to kick it down. Her work is finally complete. The owner of the Mystic Eyes looks at the statues scattered throughout the temple. Phew. It sure would be nice if no one came by today. She sighs listlessly. Now then, time to rest. She sits on the statue of a man trying to crawl away to escape. Under the pleasantly warm sunlight, a dry wind breezes through her hair and the laundry. That was quite a load that got piled up. It is good that the weather has finally gotten nice. Bathed by the rays of sunlight, she gazes at the sun absentmindedly. Right now, she is neither a goddess worshipped by many, nor a monster which shakes the earth, but a young woman enjoying the tranquility.
I assume this was...
Found you, Medusa! Suddenly, a voice full of anger echoes in the temple. Not that this is a rare occurrence on this island. Seeing the glory of exterminating the Snake Witch, many people come day and night to kill her. As a result, it seems that there will be one more clothes hanger to join the cemetery of bizarre stone statues. Uh, 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 uh. However, the owner of the Mystic Eyes, who was supposed to smack her lips at her new sacrifice, cowers, as if being the end of the world. I can't believe it. Why? Why? Appearing on the top of the stairs overlooking the forest of stone statues.
Hey.
Oh, now we get to see his sister's art.
Yeah, I was wondering why they had the portraits in the options menu.
It is only a single girl in a dazzling outfit. You... What have you done? But... Didn't I tell you not to use that rusty, smelly chain to dry the laundry? Please forgive me, elder sister. Since it was convenient, Be quiet. My nice clothes have uneven chain marks on them. They're ruined. You scrub them with those gorilla arms of yours and end up removing not only the dirt, but also all of their divinity. Look here. The garments adorning my body are in no way similar to the crude rags you wear. Just because you're built like a behemoth doesn't mean you have to mess up everywhere you possibly can.
Now, is this Seno or Uriel? I'm gonna guess. I would guess Steno, but
yeah, probably because of the hairpiece, right?
I think they're actually identical, but something about her personality is a little different.
Yes, I am deeply sorry. And my shoes. Why on earth would you put on such an? Why would you put them on such an ugly man's face? This was my favorite pair, and now they're going to be too gross to even put on. I understand a huge body being a bit slow in the uptake, but it looks like you have no grace nor any sense of beauty either. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, those clothes cannot be dried under direct sunlight. Aw, the colors are all faded. Harg, not only can you not wash clothes properly, you spoil them all. I can't believe it. Are you the worst jinx ever? Or are you the best good for nothing? Well, answer me, Medusless. Sister, I'll be careful next time. You still don't get it, do you? There will not be a next time for you. Harg, for God's sake, what am I supposed to wear tomorrow? Are you telling me to dress as naked and shamelessly as you? But these were your clothes. What, you got a problem? Our hand-me-down should be plenty for you. This beautiful woman was towed off completely by a girl with a height lower than her chest. It might have looked charming to an observer, but sadly, there's nobody here to watch but wordless stone statues now. Jeez, it's sheer ugliness wherever I turn. I can't stand these lecherous, vulgar faces anymore. Once a man starts looking like this, that's the end for him. From now on, only use handsome men for petrification. And these statues with no aesthetic value need to be all smashed by tonight. But there are just so many of them. I'm the older one. If I tell you to do it, then do it. You're a younger sister, ranking lower than a slave on this island. And don't you dare cut corners by saying Bellerophon to take down them all at once again, you'll leave marks on the temple itself. No. Geez, thinking that anything's fine as long as you don't get caught. Who did you take after, I wonder? I think it was you, sister. I heard that, Medusa. That face. Eh? Unbelievable. I just said that you're lower than a slave. Have you already forgotten that? Do you dare rebel against your older sister? No, I don't. Since you have such a bad memory, shall I impart the attitude of absolute servitude on your body itself?
Wait, is the H scene gonna be? I don't think it's gonna be an H scene, but there's a chance I'm gonna put the screen up for just a second.
I won't let you escape, Medusa. Shaking off the restraining voice of her pursuer, the owner of the Mystic Eyes dashes off at full speed. She's heading for the stable.
Just a wet screen right now, by the way. There's nothing happening.
There resides her Pegasus, a gift from the god of the sea, Poseidon. She needs to get on the winged specimen of a phantasmal species and escape to the skies for a while, far away from the reach of her sister's hands. Then, she just has to pray that her sister's mood would change before she returns. But if I do that, then the cleaning and cooking. But if I stay behind, I shall be punished and will be unable to do it anyway. She laments while fleeing away. Thanks to her long legs, her sister couldn't catch up to her on foot.
Alright, I think we're safe, so I'll take it down.
She felt gloomy at the thought that this was the only time that she was thankful for her tall stature. I only wish I could be cute like my sister. She opens the door of the stable, but the owner of the Mystic Eyes stands still in shock. Sister, why are you here? The girl holding the reins to Pegasus laughs slightly. Oh my. I'm ever so sorry, Medusa. I just came back from a long ride with Pegasus, so he is very tired. Well, myself aside, he certainly cannot support someone of a stature and weight as large as yours anymore. No way. You even said you would let him rest this morning. Do you want to leave this island? You could simply swim. I am certain that with all that fat, your body should be able to float easily. Do you understand? As the owner, I forbid you to ride on him today. But I was the one who received him. Fufu? You're a bit slow, Medusa. The younger sister's things are the older sister's things, and the older sister's things are the older sister's things. How many times do I have to say it before you understand? Really? You must lose this habit of always shirking your duties and trying to ride out on my Pegasus. It saddens me, that indolence of yours. Who did you take after, I wonder? I heard that, Medusa. But she didn't even say anything this time. Looks like I have no choice. It pains me to do so, but it looks like the older sister must teach the younger one about the consequences of disobedience with her body. Eek? I did not say anything this time.
Oh, by the way, at least in some versions of the myth, Pegasus was born from Medusa's neck after Perseus beheaded her.
Sorry. The owner cannot help but dart out of the stable, however. Ah, you came back to me. That was pretty admirable for someone as sly as you. Older sister? My, did you catch Medusa for me? Older sister!
Okay, so the one on the right is Senno, the one on the left is Uriel.
This will require some explanation. The two girls giving Medusa a hard time. Each one the spitting image of the other. These two are, in fact, Medusa's older sisters. The eldest one is Theno, the strong. The younger one is Uriel, the far flyer. Finally, the youngest and tallest, alike yet different, is Medusa, the woman that dominates. These three lovely ladies were the infamous Gorgon sisters. Exiled to the Shapeless Isle, turning one brave man after another into stone, they were prominent monsters even in the world of Greece. However, as a side note to avoid any misunderstanding, it was only the youngest sister Medusa who struck fear in the hearts of the heroes. That is to say that the two older sisters could not boast of any fighting prowess at all. Or rather, while they had been acquiring an entirely different ill reputation than Medusa, her sisters were revered as goddesses by the nearby men. Originally, they were ancient, indigenous gods of Greece. Nevertheless, jealous of their beauty, the goddess Athena took away their faith from the people and exiled them to the Shapeless Isle. Although only Medusa alone received Athena's ire, out of care for her younger sister, the siblings accompanied her to the isle as well. Since then, rumors about them being monsters started circulating amongst people. However, a rumor is still only a rumor. They did not become monsters and merely continue to spend their days like before. The legendary infamous Medusa aside, the first and second daughters were literally perfected goddesses. The eldest daughter, Steno, a lady with elegant demeanor, overflowing grace, and wisdom in her words and actions. A goddess said to be the ideal woman. It is said that merely hearing one's name escape from her lips is enough to make a man lose his senses over the rapturous feeling and swear eternal loyalty to her. The second daughter, Uriel, a lady with a carefree demeanor, overflowing smile, and the essence of purity in her words and actions. A goddess said to be the ideal girl. It is said that merely hearing one's name escape from her lips is enough to make a man tremble all over with honor and swear to protect her even at the cost of his life. Unlike Medusa, these two goddesses had neither mystic eyes nor supernatural strength. With merely the power of immortality and eternal youth, they were just sweet girls. Athena lied about them, that the reason they would never grow old was because they were monsters. That was false. Different from the gods of Olympus who need to consume the golden apples to stop aging, the sisters, especially Steno and Uriel, were born into this world as idols, completely immortal. They were the embodiment of the yearning hearts of men. Although they would never age, they were the weakest being in this world. With no power to fight, these immortal girls would starve if left alone. They could not live without help from others. That is the divine essence of these Gorgon sisters. From the moment they were created and up until the moment they were destroyed, they will remain the same. Except the youngest, who was a failure from birth. The youngest daughter, Medusa, different from her older sisters, she did not have the skills of a perfect goddess. The two older sisters were forever young, but Medusa's immortality was imperfect. As a result, in spite of being the younger sister, Medusa grew older and taller than her sisters, and was revered as a monster from them altogether. As a side note, one ought to mention that she was a great goddess nevertheless. The Gorgon sisters were the results of the deification of the same natural phenomena. One could call them copies or clones. It could have been a mistake during their birth, or there might have been a deeper significance to it, but the youngest sister, Medusa, was not copied correctly. The older sisters embodied the concept of forever young and immortal, yet Medusa received nothing of the sort. Nevertheless, as a compensation, Medusa was endowed with various abilities which her sisters were not. The mystic eyes of petrification, a supernatural ability to interfere with nature, and excellent physical abilities. All of these can be said to be divine powers indispensable in protecting her sisters who couldn't live in this world by themselves. However, it was those physical differences that caused the sisters, once united, to become three different individuals. It is not a surprising development for Medusa, different from the start, but the process of interacting with one such sibling, even the two others who were meant to be the same, eventually showed slight irregularities. The youngest sister, an expert in combat, and her older sisters who perfected themselves as idols. Unlike Medusa, they liked humans very much. They welcomed the men who visited their island, comforted them, and sent them on a new adventure. Eternal idols. The incarnations of the image of a pure maiden. Idealized, never-aging young girls. Twin deities in a class entirely different from that of a haughty goddesses with full curves. That's right. As goddesses whose purpose was just to be loved and spoiled, being cute was their specialty. The ultimate sisters whose beauty would never be matched, even by Medusa's best efforts. They were the Snow White goth lowly idol duo. For Steno and Uriel, that was the meaning of their very existence. Well, that's what the men, observing from afar and oblivious of their true character, said of them. The eldest daughter, Steno, a lady with elegant demeanor, overflowing grace and wisdom in her words and actions. A goddess said to be the ideal woman. It is said that merely hearing one's name escape from her lips is enough to make a man lose his senses over the rapturous feeling and swear eternal loyalty to her. However, according to a certain younger sister who wishes to remain anonymous, she would say that Steno was the perfect example of laziness. She had not the slightest interest in things she didn't like. Worse still, this monstrous sister's cruelty towards those she had no interest in would make the watchdog of hell tremble in fear. The second daughter, Uriel, a lady with a carefree demeanor, overflowing smile, and the essence of purity in her words and actions. A goddess said to be the ideal girl. It is said that merely hearing one's name escape from her lips is enough to make a man tremble all over with honor and swear to protect her even at the cost of his life. However, according to a certain younger sister who once again wishes to remain anonymous, she would say that Uriel was the ultimate display of mood swings. On top of that, she was sly as well. If I keep quiet, no one will be mad. And if I don't get caught, then there was nothing wrong. And yet she would feel just a little guilty later. That's the impish, cowardly second sister. Unlike Medusa, they liked humans very much. They welcomed the men who visited their island, comforted them, and sent them on a new adventure. But even that was a gigantic trap. They loved everything pretty and cute, freely and unconditionally. Indeed, these two devils did love humans. However, what they loved was not simply humans as living beings, but rather toying with people they liked, embarrassing and driving them to their ruin. In short, watching them struggle, they loved it more than life itself. Sister? I thought that was a very unsightliness that provokes your unconditional hatred. I'm shocked. Your tastes are terrible to the point of being incurable, Medusa. Now listen here, pretty things dancing in the most unsightly manner. Now that is a true beauty. Hence, many brave men became their sister's sacrifice. The heroes who came seeking to court them were met with impossible demands, and went back to their countries weeping. Alas, the terrifying devilish three sisters. Some went to challenge the she-monster Medusa to gain fame, and were petrified. Others went to seek the hand of the goddess in marriage, and ended up ridiculed beyond all reason until they met their death. O brave warriors! If there are men amongst you, they shall do well to leave this place. This is the island at the utmost edge of the end of the world, an evil paradise inhabited by a woman of peerless beauty. Look, pal, I'm telling you for your own good, just don't ever get involved with a goddess. This island practically exists to teach you this lesson, you know? And that is a rough summary of the story behind the Temple of Darkness. A peaceful afternoon without any challengers, which was quite rare. As part of the daily ritual, Medusa is being picked on by the two older sisters again. Were you trying to run away from the other me too? What did you do to the other me? I'd like to hear your answer. Medusa's caught between the two sisters, each a spitting image of the other. Unlike Medusa, who matures slowly but surely, her older sisters remain forever the same. Since the basics of their personalities are the same, they sense the same things as well. Far surpassing telepathy, they are more like the two parts of the same body, each of them feeling everything the other does. That's right, you defiled Uriel, didn't you?
Defied.
You defied Uriel, didn't you?
She was going to defile her.
Which means you defied Steno twice. Indeed, your contempt for Uriel equates to your contempt for me. Well then, me and myself have no choice but to punish you. Naturally, disciplining a younger sister is a duty, privilege, and source of amusement for the older sister. Solemnly, Uriel turns to a statue standing beside Medusa. A slim and tall warrior raising a huge sword overhead. Face isn't bad. I wonder if this'll do. Holding onto the man's armor, she pulls herself up with all her strength, as if trying to tear the pieces off. Elder sister? Flexing her short limbs, Uriel steadily climbs up the man's body. Elder sister, that is dangerous. Please stop. Medusa, this is your punishment. Don't move. Yes. Like a slithering serpent, with slow and steady movements, she flows towards the top of the statue. Not able to take her eyes off of Uriel, Medusa feels as if all of her own limbs are entangled by a snake, unable to twitch. What a superb view. Who could have thought it feels so good to look down at other people? Yes, perhaps it was inevitable that our silly Medusa would grow this impudent. Then, would you please forgive me? Medusa, just because you're so forgetful, I'll repeat my order one more time for you. Are you listening? Running away is forbidden. Absolutely forbidden. Eek! Her small body dances in the air, which is hardly surprising given that she is Uriel the Far Flyer. The flying goddess leaps towards Medusa's snow-white neck, grins wide, opens her mouth, and bares her fangs. And then delivers an evil kiss. A battle cry that punches through the skin and pierces the blood vessels below. The sweet music of smacking lips, a dancing tongue, and slurping sounds following. And then a blood-curdling scream from Medusa. One wonders what those who came to know of her later would think if they saw her like this. Preying not on individuals but an entire city, the demon Medusa sucked the blood of hundreds of people in one night. To think that she was being treated the same by this cute little girl. Older sister. It hurts and it tickles. How pathetic. It always bothered me how the youngest sister ends up looking down on the older ones.
Wait, they said she's biting her neck, right? Or am I misunderstanding that?
It said neck, but
okay. So,
who knows what it actually wrote.
How's she biting to the collar?
Yeah. The tall woman trembles in fear, and the cute little girl clings tightly onto her. Perhaps it is too one-sided with only Uriel. Zeno from the back of Pegasus licks her lips. Eh? Don't move, Medusa. It'll only hurt if you resist. Older sister? Yeah. Her blood plundered from both sides of her nape. Medusa is entranced, standing stock still. Like an endless bout of anemia. It is no longer screams that she lets out. The noises now resemble the creaking of some broken mechanism. Our youngest sister, she's so... so dull and lazy. So imprudent, such a blockhead, and yet... Her blood alone is just so sweet. But please forgive me, sisters. The two sucking sounds weave with each other in melodious harmony, echoing within the temple. Part of the daily ritual, the youngest sister is being disciplined by the mean sisters today. It shall be said again that it is not a rare occurrence on this island.
Huh? As I come to, I find myself at the storehouse. The sunlight is now considerably lower. Has it been a whole hour already? How strange. What have I been doing? Okay, I feel like it actually has been an hour since the scene started, or close to it.
Pretty much.
I tilt my head.
When you and Ryder entered the storeroom, I followed behind quietly and... Huh?
Ilya also tilts her head. Ryder frowns deeply. What's wrong, Ryder? You got a headache? And what have we been doing all this time?
No, nothing much. You were just saying that you wish that you were a little taller, Shiro.
Clap my hands together. Yeah, we did talk about something like that, didn't we? However, if that's the case, then what is bike number 2 doing at Ryder's feet? Ryder, about the number 2 that's just laying on the ground. Don't phrase it that way, Shiro.
Yeah. I do not know about it. Number 2 somehow ended up being left here, and it is absolutely none of my concern as to how. Isn't that right, Shiro?
That's right. Ryder just dropped by here. Number 2 was, despite my mind still being a bit foggy up to this point, with Ryder's gaze fixed on me, I start to feel that there's nothing else to it. Yes, I believe you might have brought it here for repairs. I've no... Wait. Okay. I have no major requests, but as far as maintenance goes, I would ask that you have the frame and crank reinforced. The tire's perfectly fine.
Well then, please excuse me. And Ilisfil, I'm happy to see this lively, but high places are not somewhere young girls like you should play in. Therefore, you should never dive down from the second floor of this storehouse. You're so strange. I wouldn't do that even if you asked me. That is fine. I'm glad to have your understanding, Elia. Then I shall see you again at dinner time.
Flashing an adult-like smile, Ryder leaves the storehouse. Fascinated by the back of the cool adult-like figure, I see her off in a daze.
Ugh.
Stylish woman hits her head and crouches down in pain. Ryder?
Please do not worry, Anshiro. As you can see, being tall has hardly any benefits at all.
Shut up on her head. Tottering, Ryder disappears toward the courtyard. I see. Being tall is unexpectedly troublesome, huh? You have to go soon, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll go to the title and take a look at what we got for today.
I want to see the new wallpaper that you unlocked.
Yeah. Is this it? Oh. Cute. I think it was just one, right? Yeah. And can we get anything here? Oh, still can't afford this one, huh? Alright.
Ryder's eternally youthful older sisters, the eldest daughter, Steno, and the second daughter, Uriel.
Incidentally, is there any way to tell these two apart?
The only differences are their names and personalities. Aside from those, not even a strand of hair nor a single cell is different. Of course, even their love for their third daughter, Ryder, is identical as well.
Ryder, that poor girl.
Eh? Why is that? Aren't your big sisters just adorable?
Poor girl. Yeah, like FGO, the only way you can tell them apart during cutscenes is by their pose.
I swear in FGO their headpieces are different.
You know what, I can check that real quick. Let's see. Uriel. Come on. Alright, let's get Uriel open. Then we get Steno. When Uriel ascends, she changes hers, but in base, they're both the same. Okay. Alright, let me get my stuff back up here. Okay. The Clock Tower's female prodigy and noble magus, Luvia Gelida Edelfelt.
Now that I say it again, the name sounds like some sort of new autumn cake.
The anticipated new character. When I showed two designs to the person in charge, one with sleeves and one without, use both was the response. And that is how the sleeve tearing type was born. The selling point of the design was the orange hair and the white boots, is what the original designer says. Orange. Okay, if you say so.
Eh? So that drunken rambling was the reason I was thrown around? I mean, that's just unreasonable, come on.
Now, don't get so excited. Miss Luvia is surprisingly accomplished in pro wrestling. That was part of her original character concept. Your fate to get thrown around will not change one bit.
What are you so happy about?
It's just that with her, I think it's only natural that she would eventually come to the conclusion of a removable sleeve dress.
In what parallel world is that a solution?
Well, in a way, it could be. Actually, when looking closer, your relationship is where hatred comes out comes out of similarity. Friendship could be born out of all that competitive tossing around.
No. Such a hollow friendship, I will not permit it.
Some general advice to end with. Don't speak ill of someone who might one day have your back.
No.
I'm actually surprised at how much we still have left here.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a whole new batch of side stories to do, for all we know.
Or it's from Hanafuda.
I don't think these ones are tied to the Hanafuda. I think it's just the gallery. But...
Okay.
Yeah, because that's all over here. Oh, actually, I wanted to, I'm going to put the screen up for a second. I just wanted the stuff that they flashed to earlier during the Karen scene. I want to see if it's actually in here yet.
Not so far. Because she was lying down.
Yeah, no, it's not here. I guess when we get the actual, like, full image, it'll show it. Okay. Alright, so that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. See you then.